We live? Yeah, we live for real. We're just gonna allow the room to fill up real quick. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I obviously caught the meet, but I didn't catch the meet as much as I would have liked. But I definitely did come in and out for all the highlights.
I watched the meet.
You did?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And well, the obvious highlight in the last few meets has been the women's 100 meters, and
I feel like the highlight of the whole season has been the women's 100. Really.
it has, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's been some amazing performances this year, but I think that's where most of the talk has been directed for many different reasons. But today, another good reason.
All right, so let's allow the room to fill up just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The live's just started, but you did say that Shelly-Ann had mentioned that she was expecting to run fast in this meet, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. I mean, first of all, I don't know how they're still doing it. I think I said this last time, but that's her. What did she run? 10:60.
10:60, which was actually faster than what Elaine ran
At the Olympics.
But I mean, does that really bring up speculation that she should have won?
No, but it's. I mean, obviously it's one round, but it's like I don't understand it. I'm still wondering, like, are they not tired? Clearly not.
I know, right?
Clearly not. Got this mic all up in my face.
I know we got a little bit of a different setup this time, ladies and gentlemen. And Jade obviously isn't a fan of it.
Very claustrophobic.
Very claustrophobic. She says. Once you guys enter the room, just holler at us, yo. Let us know you're in here. Let us know what's going on, yo.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good responses from our last live. A lot. In this one in particular, we have the interview setup that we are going to be doing. We're going to be joined by world champion, 110-meter hurdler David Oliver, and also multiple world champion and Olympic champion.
Done so much.
In the long jump, Dwight Phillips.
Yeah, Dwight.
Let me retweet. I'm sure
Jade's tweeted. I'm not joking.
Oh, we got that in store. We had some discussions earlier today about that happening ASAP. Let me retweet Jade's promotion because I know she was on top of that earlier.
I did that already.
Yeah, I just want to retweet from mine.
Well,
so let's run.
I'm happy it's not that late tonight.
I know.
Right? The last one, was on that America time.
It was on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And it was late over there, which is very late over here. Where's that tweet, girl? 30-minute warning. Okay, so I just gotta say we live from mine. That's what we'll do.
Live. Still interesting to me.
Yeah.
These lives.
Yeah, Jay's getting a little bit used to it. I've done it for. Yo, all in the game. Big up yourself.
Someone tweeted us and was like, it's always like the Caribbean background.
That was
like
the running. Oh, was that the running report? No, it was Nutmegger.
Nutmegger, yes. He's like, they love to put the horns and the, for the.
We really do.
Who are they talking about? They put it. They directed it as and Track Girl Summer.
They do that too.
Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Natasha Hastings, Trinidadian background.
Yeah.
Corey Carter, I don't believe has a Caribbean background,
but we got to definitely check their stuff out because we've been hearing some good stuff about what they're doing, what they were doing over the summer.
Yeah.
Track Girl Summer.
What happens during the indoor season with that title?
Well, maybe they're only going to do summertime.
Maybe.
Track Girl Winter?
Maybe we'll only do the summertime too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, everybody only cares about outdoor season, people.
Nah.
All in the game said Jay still complimenting Sha'Carri after liking xenophobic. Come on, man, you into that xenophobic? So let's respond to this because we had a lot of conversation about this today. Do you want to get into that now, or do you want to get to what happened with Shelly first, and then get into that later? Because I know that this is going to be something that's going to come up later. While the room's filling up, I think that we should address it because I know that myself and Jade have not the, well, I shouldn't even say the traditional response to Sha'Carri. I think that a lot of the people that have had opinions on Twitter about Sha'Carri have been the negative people. The people who, you know, aren't seeing it the same way are less likely to say what they have to say because they ain't trying to deal with the Twitter flack from these people that don't know what they're talking about.
Jax just said, Shelly just ran 10-6, please, something else. Laugh out loud. I mean, we're going to talk about, a little bit later, we'll talk about Sha'Carri because it's
that could take up a whole show.
Exactly. So
let's talk about the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about the meat, but on the game, we'll get into that.
Yeah. And also, I didn't see all of this. So she's apparently said that Shelly looks like Lil Wayne and she's beefing with Gabby Thomas and Allison. I didn't see that. But
you see, this is the way I'm looking at it is that the harder people come at her, the harder she's going to come back.
She's in defense mode, I think. But also, I think she's doing. Anyway, we said we're not going to talk about
We're
that
now
right
going
now.
to. We're going
Let's
to later.
Right
we're going
now.
to later. So let's run Shelly's tweet or Shelly's
Yeah, this was the presser. I found the press conference interesting. Look at even the setup of the press conference. They got tables.
People sharing chairs.
Yeah.
Or sharing tables, actually, especially these two.
I know.
And a little later on, we're going to look at a clip where Elaine was talking about, perhaps, just because we want to see the fact that Shelly was kind of inching away, like she really didn't want to be nowhere near her. And in the race, she obviously didn't want to be nowhere near her either.
Today, she did some things today, but.
So let's run that clip.
Well, next year is some time away, so you definitely have to get your off season, and no season is the same. So you that you have and continue to work on that. And for me, I definitely have not run my best race as yet, and I'm still working on different phases of the races, and hopefully I'll be able to put that together. I've always said, every time you step at the line, you want to win. That's the intention. That's the aim. You go out there. And to have women who will definitely bring it and will have fast times, I think that adds to the excitement, not only for the crowd, but for you as an athlete, because it raises your game and it forces you to make sure that
okay.
Well, next year is some time away, so
I guess Elaine has caused her to raise her game.
But what I love is that 35, she's talking about, like, I've still got different parts of my race that I'm working on. I mean, that gives a lot of people some hope that back in the day, do you remember when you were like 25 and you're like, oh, I'm getting to like 28, it's going to be done, I'm like going to retire. Now, she's just showing you can still learn, 35 years old. And the funny thing is, the way she took out that race today, she got that she's called the pocket rocket. That's what she come like. She got out like a rocket. She's, I don't know.
I gotta be honest, I was only looking at Elaine till about 30.
Really?
Yeah, until I realized, there's someone out in front of her. Shelly is moving. Shelly's pulling away. And she's not coming back. So,
But I think because Sharika was next to her, right? So I think Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was in lane 4, maybe? 4. I think Sharika was in lane 5. Elaine was in 6. And Sharika was next to Shelly, and she looked. I feel like that jet lag, something's getting, like, she just didn't, and she still
moved at the end.
She ran like 10-9 or something, right?
I've heard a few people talking about Sharika being the future. I don't see it.
Really? I saw today she ran 10-9, but the way she ran that, like, I think it put off Elaine, because she literally looked like she was about to stop halfway through the race. She just didn't look like she was in it. You know that time where you're like, you go to the beat, you're after the season, you're after the championship, and you're like, man, why am I here? I just want to go home and get some fried plantain and some curry goat. You know what I mean? That's my favorite. You know, like it's just like, oh my God, I'm here, I'm running. Like, geez, and I think Elaine, who was next to her, kind of was a bit like, oh, and because she was so far away from Shelly, I think it kind of Shelly got out, took away, and then it was really difficult. But look, Elaine came back good at the end, but it's not 10-6.
Yeah.
10-6. 10-6 is like, first of all, it's her PB. It's the meeting record.
Yeah.
And it's third fastest time in history.
Faster than that 10:63 earlier in the year that everyone was going on about. But she looked confident. Crossing the line, I mean, you commented on the face she had when she crossed the line. There's obviously some ferocity there. Straight face, no happy reaction. It was more like a, yo, let me just put something on y'all real quick.
What, when Shelly-Ann
crossed the line?
And the funny thing is, she looked over at the clock and her face was like, you know, if she could have and you had a mic, you could hear the kiss teeth. Like, told you people, man, don't rant with me. Like, this is what I do. I told you I'm not done. Like, what are you talking about? That's what she said. Like, I've got this. She said in there, I don't think it showed it in this clip, but she said that, believe it or not, I still haven't run my best race. There'll be more for me this season. She said that she wanted to break into the 10.5s. She just missed out. Like, she was so close. 10.60. You know, you just want that little. It's like when you're in the long jump and you jump like 6.99. I didn't even get there, but you jump 6.99, or you run like 10 dead. You're like, why? Just give me that one little something. But you know what? I mean, I think she's got a few more races. But I mean, how many times? I feel like we're being spoiled right now with the women's 100.
I know.
I feel like it's like now it's just a nutterness. Like, 10.6 ain't nothing. Kind of all of a sudden. It's like, oh, 10.6. Okay, it's good. But
I do feel like next year is going to be better, though. But I don't know if it's going to be Shelly. I honestly feel like this is.
I'm talking about next year already.
I feel like this is going to be because we're talking about Shelly moving forward, right? And if this is like, you know, what she speaking about the age and stuff like that. We were just talking about earlier the age, and I feel like this might be Shelly's peak year.
Oh, so you don't think she's going to come more next year?
Well, at 36, that'd
35, 36, like what? What are you talking about?
The straw has to break the camel's back eventually.
Okay.
We have a lot of comments here. Let me just acknowledge a few. Respect Joel for tuning in, yo, and not missing this one, yo. We appreciate the love, you know. Fast track. Overall, we'll talk about more results later. I don't know if there's anything that stood out time-wise aside from that 100.
Where? Overall?
Yeah, I mean...
What other than, like...
The 200 was fast.
Had a 3.2 wind.
That was windy.
Yeah. But Benenke, he's running. I mean, Costas, you know Costas. Obviously, Costas, if you guys are track fans, you know Costas. He always just comes with the fire, like, stats.
Yeah, you got these obscure stats.
Yeah, he said the other day that Benarek, he's in a single season, he's the only person to ever run legal, because I think he's done it now with 2 others, so it's 11 times all conditions, but legal 9 times under 20 seconds. He's the only person to have done that.
Yeah. So that would make
just gets, goes over people's heads.
Yeah. So that would make 11 now, including the windy times. So it was 10 including his windy. He had 1 windy time in there.
So what's his best is like, I think it's like 1968 legal. And he just ran 1965, but it was a 3.2. So,
yeah,
but you know what was funny was when I think it was the commentator was like, but you know he's got that 3.2, so that you know we can't really talk about how good that is. Kind of, I was like, what is this man talking about? You try run 19.6 with a 3+3 and see what happens.
Yeah,
see how far you'll get.
The commentators talk like it's nothing, yo.
I know.
Oh yeah. I always thought I was Jamaican Trini. Nah, I'm born in Canada. Both my parents are Jamaican. Wikipedia, I guess that's the update. I hope it doesn't have Trinidad.
Oh, does it still? Did it used to say Trinidad? Like when it said you were 6 foot.
Funny story. Before I met Jade in person, we knew each other, but we got to know each other originally through over the phone from a distance.
Even though we went to every championships together, but we never met.
Yeah, when we actually met, we did meet face to face, but I guess she didn't really remember how tall I was. So she went to look, and I told her I was 6'3". She went and looked, and it said that I was 6 feet on Wikipedia or wherever it was.
Honestly.
So she
I have to say I'm 6 foot.
She randomly tried to bring it up in a conversation. So your height.
How tall are you again? I want to see if it's one of those ones, where they lie. You know those mans who try and put a few more inches.
She thought I lied.
A few more inches.
So I was like, I'm 6'3". She's like, yeah, well, I saw online that it mentioned that you were 6 feet. So I was like, well, it's not, it ain't updated.
And the funny
thing
is,
are you sure it's not updated?
No, but the funny thing is, I had to try. I was like, before I go to him, because I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, like I'm stalking him or something. But I don't know why I was looking. I don't know why I was looking you up. But then I was like, let me go, and I was like, no, before I go, let me just make sure. So I think I went to the Canadian Athletics website to look at your little bio, and I think it said 6'2". So I was like, oh my, you did lie to me. But luckily, I can wear my heels.
And I didn't lie.
It's all right, I can wear my 3-inch
All in all, I
heels.
didn't lie. The moral of the story is don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually you're going to have to cross paths. And if I did lie, we wouldn't have this podcast or this broadcast or what you've seen thus far. And whatever else came with our relationship would be non-existent.
To be with a guy who's shorter than me. I've been there roundabout in the past where they're my height.
But at 6 feet, it's tough for you.
I can't wear shoes. I can't wear heels, man.
But, it's what it is. But we digress. The times are going to be spectacular, 34, 35 in December. Joel Terwayne said next year's times are going to be spectacular across the board.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into that a little later. I think so too.
Hopefully we'll have what was good today? Crowds.
Yo, it was a full stadium.
Full.
That might be the most I've seen at an event thus far this year.
Yeah.
Pre had a lot of people, but you could tell they had a limit.
Mm.
Because if they would allow it, Pre would never be empty. Because those fans are crazy, so I'm assuming they had a limit.
Yeah.
But
this one, Europe is the place, obviously, when it comes to track and field.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. So I'm sending this Zoom link to one of our guests, Dwight Phillips, said he's ready to go.
Ooh, Dwight. Dwight.
So once we get to this, let's check this out. We're gonna be able to see Dwight. He's not gonna be able to see that. It's
Why?
okay. Technical issues, but fine. Dwight jumps in the room. But if you guys got some questions for Dwight, right? He's in Lausanne right now.
He just watched the meet.
And you said the commentator actually referenced him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What'd they say?
They said that they saw him in the crowd. They said Dwight Phillips, long jump, great, is in the crowd. So, because he coaches. An athlete.
I was reading one of the comments.
Oh,
yeah, he coaches. He said you were looking him up because he did want him. You did want him on top line. Top line.
That was already established by this stage. So what can I say? It was already established. I just had to check out, a couple of things.
Background checks, background checks.
Well,
amazing thing that we still have 3 more meets. I know, right? Yo, usually, and I'm usually, as an athlete, once the Olympics is done, we're usually done mentally. And this year it's been seeming like, there's still a vibe right now.
But that's what I was going to say. When you were competing and you finished, would you still carry on? But just
no.
So after the championships, you didn't.
I could physically feel it,
so
crossing the line. No, I never did. I could physically feel okay, that's it. Mentally, it would have been tough to continue on.
That's the thing. I don't know. And the thing is, I just did a tweet. These athletes, right, have gone from Tokyo, way over there, way over there. Then they've gone home everywhere around the world. Then they went to They did Then they've come to Lausanne. Then they're going to Paris. It's you know that time where your body clock just doesn't know whether it's night, day. You don't know what's going on. You don't know you're sleeping, eating, all random. You just don't know. I couldn't do it. And that's why I think watching some of the performances, you could see today some athletes were just off. They just were like, oh God. But then some athletes, clearly it's still not affecting them. This is what I'm saying. Like, how that guy that you that's your A-Rock
Marco.
800.
Yo, big up the one named Marco A-Rop, yo, because he's really.
Let me look. I was just writing down my little. I hate looking stuff up. 800. Yeah, he ran 1:44.51 and beat the Olympic champion, who came second. But he won pre. He won pre as well.
Unfortunately, didn't make the Olympic final. But
this is. I just. What is with that? What is that? Is it the rounds? Is it the pressure? Is it like the training? Is it you blaming your coach or what? You're like, it's your fault. You didn't get me ready in the right time.
Would you blame the coach? Yo, maybe he just cracked. I mean,
do you know him?
I do.
What
Real
kind
cool
of character?
cat. Very calm, very unassuming.
Okay.
I would say that there's a tenacity there. He doesn't show it, but I can't say I've ever indulged with him before a competition or during a competition.
And he's only how old? 22.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. He's not 22. Have you not seen how big and crusty this man looks?
Yeah, he's like 6'6".
And he looks like a big man. Yeah. He does not look like a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
But the world juniors were going on in Nairobi, I think last week. Huh? Some of them mans, you don't know they're not the age that they're. I'm just saying. You know, back in the day, when I was competing back in the day, there was always that speculation of some of those athletes that were like saying, yeah, I'm 18 or 19. And you're like, you know, you're not, you're 28. Stop lying. That's true.
Former world champion, perennially in the top 5 in the world for numerous years, the 110-meter hurdles. Now is with them shoulders. Are you you're the head coach at Howard, or are you the athletic?
Yeah.
Okay, so the head coach, the track and field team, and really doing his thing, still close to the sport, and obviously an ambassador. Welcome to the show, my guy. Jay's probably.
It's good to be here, man. I check y'all out often. So.
What we saw, do you know what it was? It was like last week, when we after we saw you made a tweet talking about like we need to have more like track shows after the meet.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that people get like the vibe from whoever it is, so we can have a place to discuss what we're just seeing after we've obviously watched it. Otherwise, it's just like it finishes and then it's dead, and we do a little Twitter something, but that's it.
That's it. Yeah, every other sport got those shows. So.
Oh, thank you. And also, you were like one of our voice note guests on our podcast, which was very good.
Second or the first?
It was the fourth. It wasn't it about the I think it was the Young and in the Spotlight one.
Oh yeah.
It's transitioning from like college to the pros.
It's funny because that episode came up again this week. We referenced it because of what happened when Sydney came out with that, the video that she put out after U.S. championships. We referenced her in that episode because of the fact that she was young and in the spotlight very early, and obviously we think that everybody wants that, so they think that she's living the life, and they think that that's ideally the life that everybody wants, that she's living it up. But the way she broke down and the way things went throughout that video, you could see she's actually really hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it's really gotten to her. Did you check that video out?
I just saw the clip on Twitter, and it's that's the thing is people, you think you want the lifestyle of pros or these star athletes or entertainers, but I know a lot of us would rather we take the money and things like that and leave the fame and the notoriety in the rearview mirror. I know I surely would. I had no interest in trying to be a topic on Twitter or Instagram or things like that. It wasn't my style, but you just can't help it, especially when you're extremely great at what you do, like she is. So it's just unfortunate.
But do you feel like, obviously now that you're coaching like college athletes, do you feel like that the world that we're living in now, like she referenced a lot about the fact that she hates like the whole like social media and like what it is and the fame. Do you feel like it's like way worse than when we were competing? Like I don't really remember like Twitter. There was none of those things.
I think it is. It is way worse. I mean, these kids grow up in that. My career, all of our careers were pretty much happened the social media stuff kind of blew up while our careers were going on, but it's not kind of where it is now. And these kids grew up with that. They got to check every notification and do all those type of things. For me, it's very easy to put the phone down and not be on Twitter or these Instagram or whatever else for weeks at a time. I can do that, but a lot of these kids, they just can't. I mean, I coach a lot of young people now, and we can't even warm up for a race without them sitting there to, taking pictures or doing whatever to post on their social media when the warm up is supposed to be going on. So they this is their lifestyle.
So you check them on that.
I don't really, I believe in meeting these people where they're at. I don't want to put my sensibilities and what I think should be done on them, because if I was 18 to 21 years old and in college or something, I'd probably been doing the same thing. It's just the lifestyle they live. So you just try to say, hey, look, now let's get prepared and, all those types of things when we get ready. But it's tough for them. So I just meet them where they're at.
The thing that I find crazy is, obviously, I think when you're young, of course, you're these young, and it's every single, generation. They are ahead of the game. They know stuff that we don't. They grew up in a certain thing. We were that at one point, right? But what I don't understand is when we actually made it and we're elite now, we're on the circuit, I don't understand how the elite athletes are like on their phone 20, like literally you just raced and like within like 5 minutes I see tweets. Like, what? My brain is nowhere near that. I can't even imagine. Like, leading up to the race, you're doing the Olympics, you got the final, you're tweet. I'm like, I'm turning my phone off. Don't talk to me. I don't want my phone. Yeah.
Yo, different generation. I mean, we use our phone for music and all that kind of stuff. Shoot, back when we started, it was iPods and things, so we didn't have all this. When we got to the phone, posting all the music, I would just put my phone on airplane mode. From the time I was getting on the bus to go to the meet until I was done cooling down, then I'd take it off of airplane mode. But it's just different. That's why I just think it's just different generations. People have different sensibilities, and hey, these younger kids are running extremely fast and doing well, but I think the mental, maybe the mental health side of things is, I think all of this social media and stuff like that plays a major role into some of the things that we see now. Like, like you said, you referenced Sydney's video, and, if maybe she just hopped off of social media or something like that, or took a break, maybe, it might not be as effective, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not walking in any of these individual shoes. So I can sit there and be like, oh, it's easy. I can just, I just would not even be on there. But that's not the lifestyle that these young adults live in these days.
And I think like even their sponsors and stuff expect them to, but if you're Sydney, she even spoke about the fact that she, before the trials and everything, she just came off of social media. And then when she came back, all the stuff she was seeing, it was like super anxiety, she said there was so much anxiety that she was like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want this, to be honest,
I wonder how much of those bad comments, I know that one bad comment will stick to you and stick in your mind way more than the hundreds or the thousands of you're great, you're amazing, you're whatever else. But the one bad thing that you read is going to stick with you probably a little bit more than those. But, I don't know. I just never paid that much attention to any of that stuff. I look at it like, even when I decided to call it a career with track and field, I wasn't really interested in doing some sort of retirement tour or whatever. I just woke up and was like, hey, I'm done. That's it. So I just went away.
Like,
was doing something different.
I know, because that's what happened. We're like, where is David? Like, what?
I think I got like 4th or 5th at the U.S. Championships. And I was like, and I was getting ready for the finals after that semifinal race. And I was like, yeah, this is about to be my last race. And then I ran that race. I got my stuff out of the call room area and my family was there. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Called my manager and said, hey, pull me out of all the races. I'm done. That's it I'm done running. And that was it. and then just people knew I was being the coach at Howard.
For real.
Wow.
So you didn't do like the whole announcement and
make a statement,
and post.
An official statement. No, neither did I. I just feel like that felt really...
What?
That shit is corny, right?
I don't know. I don't want to say corny. Well, I just felt like uncomfortable.
I did that.
I'm like, what do I need to make a statement about? Like, I'm just.
Upon reflection, I shouldn't know, but it's like, I don't know. It's funny because a lot of the mental health issues, I think, happen when people have to retire too, because they gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's scary. We don't know what's coming next. So upon reflection, I know that I was kind of going through it when it was time to stop. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but now athletes we see are feeling it, are being open about the fact that they're feeling it while they're in it, and it's especially the ones that are in the limelight. You know what I'm saying?
Well, did you?
But I think we were going through the mental health stuff too.
Yeah.
We just weren't really. We just like I'll just kind of go through it or something like that. Because the amount of stress and pressure, everybody's been under that as a high level athlete since the dawn of time. So I just don't know. We probably just it wasn't address it, which probably plays a role in when you retire and it's all said and done, that you don't know how to handle or accept it because you didn't get the help while you were in the sport to try to process things. I think that's what it is just the ability to process stuff, whether it's positive, negative, things like that. We didn't really seek that type of stuff out kind of as a generational thing. I wish I would have done more on that side of things when I was competing. But yeah, I mean, when I called it a career, I wasn't like, stressed out, but I know a lot of people that retired that were, and just because of the uncertainty, we don't know how to process. Like, now I don't have to wake up and go to practice. What am I supposed to do? I did this for 20, 25 years of my life, from a junior all the way till 34, 35 years old. Now it's done.
So All in the Game asks, how did you go about getting your current job and career?
It's just kind of by chance. I was done, and just I think it was like 2 weeks later, the university, I'm an alum of the university as well. They were doing a coach change, so wanted to bring me up, and we were conversing about the direction of the program, and one thing led to another, and like a month later, I was taking the job to kind of resurrect the program and kind of lead it back in a great direction. So I mean, my transition was smooth, and it was definitely not typical. But I'm in this position because of I went to the university, and was a great ambassador for the university. But I know that's not reality for everyone, and I'm very thankful that that did work out for me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a great career. It wasn't like I needed to be doing something straight away to try to make ends meet or pay bills and do all that kind of stuff. So I really wasn't concerned about that. The things I do the most, that the most important things to me is chase happiness and chase good leaders. If you do those two things, no matter what your career path or whatever it is, then you'll be successful no matter what. So, I was like, track's not making me happy anymore. I am hurt every time you turn around. It must be time to stop. So I'm gonna call it a career, because this is not making me happy anymore. So it's time to find something else. And now I do something that makes me extremely happy every day.
It's so funny, because we had someone that was they do a different sport, but they were talking about the fact that they don't even know the sport that they're doing makes them happy, but they feel like that whole Olympic dream, like that thing, just to keep like doing it. Even though they're not happy, they don't know how to get out of that kind of, that whole Olympic dream thing. Yeah,
it was this Olympic bobsledder that I was talking to earlier today. It was saying that he's just handcuffed by the dream, you know what I'm saying? And he knows that it's making his life difficult. He knows that nothing's in his pocket. He knows it's not an easy life, but he can't stop, like he just can't.
It's like being addicted to anything.
Yeah,
you're addicted. When you're in sports or doing something in general, and you're successful, people become extremely addicted to the success and the things that it brings. And I mean, I don't know this bobsledder. Maybe they were successful, maybe not. But just thinking about it in our sport, people that when it comes time, nobody's calling your phone anymore to for these interviews or doing things like that. Nobody's really checking for what you're doing anymore, and a lot of people probably suffer with that. And I think that's plays into like the mental health side of things, like you were saying, because it is tough to give this up when you're looking up and it's like, man, they're flying me here, flying me there. They want to do this commercial shoot. I'm everywhere. I'm on top of the world. And then now you got to segue to kind of just being a regular young human being. You might be older in the sport, but when you're 35, you're young. Yeah. So you got to figure out what to do next. And I can understand for a lot of people that's tough, because they've been in the limelight since they were probably 15 years old.
The funny thing is, though, obviously you made it to a place where you're winning the gold medals and, you know, you're having that limelight and you're doing all of that stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of athletes, majority of athletes are not going to make it there. You know, they're not even going to get to that, and they're still trying every year, and they're struggling. They can't pay their bills. They can't do this. They can't do that. But they're still doing the whole like Olympic like dream. Like, how am I going to get to that next level? I can still do it. It's like, at what point is it that you kind of say, well, when is it time to stop and like actually, you know, live a life? Because I know lots of athletes, like a lot of female athletes, they keep going. And then they're now like at an age where they are maybe 35, 36, 37, they retire. And, you know, with you, it just, like you said, that was some good timing for you. But a lot of people, it takes them a little while to transition, you know, figure out who they are. Now they're not an athlete. You take that time, and then it's like, for women especially, it's like, well, now we're running out of time to have children and you just see like a lot of women not going down that road. And it's kind of, when is that time to stop? Because we have this thing where we call it Olympicus, where people just don't know when to stop. They retire, they come back, they retire, they come, you know, it's like, it's that kind of delusion.
Yeah, but I mean, I never would tell somebody when enough is enough, you know. I just know for me, I never lacked for having self-awareness. You know, I know what my strengths are, weaknesses are, things like that. So I knew that I worked too hard to get to a certain level in the sport to then where like simple things like where I would show up to a meets or something and then have to start having a roommate or something again because you're not running fast. So the meets aren't like giving you singles and things. Like I wasn't going back to that lifestyle. Like, no. So if I felt like there was any fall off, I think I ran maybe 13:40 something, and I was like, oh yeah, nah, that's I'm out. I'm done. It's not, you know, it's not good enough. I'm not going. But some people just don't care, you know, and that's great because they, you know, they're pushed by something greater. They're clearly trying to achieve or accomplish something, and I can't be anybody say, hey, that's enough. But I watch these races or see these results, and it's like, dang, that person's still running, and they're like, you know, I don't know, say running real slow now or something. It's like, dang, I wonder why they want to keep on running, because this is hard. Like every day going to practice, beating your body down, knowing that a check is not at the end of this race. You know, sponsorship is not at the end of this race for you. What are you doing? But that's my sensibility. So I'm not ever going to place that on somebody else. But I know that wasn't for me.
Right.
So, all right, we'll kind of, I want to know what you think about this year. Did you watch the meet today? Were you able to watch it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Should anytime you see Shelly and them running, I'm definitely not missing that.
Yeah, right. Would you rather a world record or an Olympic gold medal?
Oh, Olympic gold medal for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're in the same boat, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, they give out like 20 or 30 Olympic gold medals at the Olympics, but who cares?
I have a couple of opinions on that.
A world record only means that doesn't mean you're the best. I don't believe a world record means you're the best. It just means you're the fastest or the furthest jumper or thrower to do it. It doesn't mean you're the best. You just did it faster. And with all this technology advancement and everything else, you know, what we do today in 30 years may be commonplace. So what does a record mean that if I ran 9:57 or something? If I ran 9:57 today and then in 30 years down the line, you know, somebody's running 9:37, I don't, you know, I ain't got the world record anymore and I have nothing else.
Viewers, you can chime in on this.
You can't take any of those medals or any of that other stuff away. That's why I just wanted to win all the time.
I hear that.
I did not care what the time was.
I hear that. We'll try not to stay on this for too long, but viewers, you can chime in on this. Just hear me out, though. Okay? Now, what I don't like to do is obviously up to this point, Olympic medals has been the priority and has been what the focus has been, and that's been the goal. So I respect it from that standpoint. But in the future, for the betterment of the sport, I don't want the reliance to be on the Olympics for track and field to have some relevance. So to say that the Olympic medal is bigger than running a fast time, I'm trying to kind of veer away from that. But when you think about when you set a world record, you are the best in that moment. No one has ever been better than you. Like you were the best.
No, nobody's ever been faster than you. Nobody's ever been faster.
Okay, good point. But still, no one's ever been faster than you, dog. Like no one. You're the best ever. You for a moment, you were the best that ever even walked the earth in this speed-wise in whatever event it is, or throw-wise, jump-wise, whatever. I think there's a lot behind that. For a moment in time, there was no one on top of you. Pause.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
you know what
I
I'm
mean, if
saying?
you're talking about advancement of the sport, yeah, I feel you. We definitely need performances and things like that to advance the sport. But I just mean personally for me, I didn't do track and field to like think about, hey, I need to carry the sport on my back and advance the sport. I was out here just trying to like do the best that I could because I love doing this and I wanted to just win.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and I think we're in a little bit of a transitional stage right now, where up until this point, the Olympics has been the be all and end all. That is what it's been. But what we're seeing is like just even like how, you know, the whole thing is set up and how the athletes basically don't get what they deserve. They don't like the whole IOC, the contracts they have to sign, all this stuff, right? Which is not set up for the athletes to win. Really, that is set up for the IOC to make money, right? So, but up until this point, it has been all about the Olympics. Now you see and that's where the thing with social media and stuff, you see the transition, even from the last Olympics where the whole US team were like, we're not having it. We want to change that rule. Was it rule
30?
You know about the
rule 30?
Yes, rule 30.
Or was it rule 40? It was one of the
rule 40. I think.
Yeah, 40 might be. Yeah,
I think it was 40.
It just it's changing now. You know that the voice, you're able to have a voice. So I feel like, for me, I think up until this point, my mentality, it was always a gold medal. But now, on this side of things, it shouldn't be about that so much. I think it should be more about the athletes doing more and getting more really for themselves.
So I convinced you.
Mm-hmm.
I convinced you. I feel like
But I mean, the athletes should get more. But you know, when you're like a career, when you go, you know, I don't know who's got the bits record. Okay, Grant Holloway, like we were saying earlier, he goes out there and runs 12:79. At the next race, he runs and breaks Harry's Merritt's record. Harry's Merritt still is the Olympic gold medalist.
Right.
You know, that never change. Anytime he gets introduced or, you know, inducted to these Hall of Fames, world record, like, you know, I had the American record before Merritt, you know, broke the world record. So, you know, that's gone. You know, so, but I mean, still got the medals and everything else.
Right. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
That's how I've always seen it, but I feel like we are in a little bit of a change. I wanted to ask what you think about that new French dude.
Oh, the
Sasha.
The young, yeah. So how do you say his last name? What's his name?
I think it's Sasha
Zoya.
Zoya, yeah.
Zoya, yeah.
Yeah, I never even heard of him until I saw on Twitter or Instagram or something. He ran like 12, maybe 90 or something in the semifinals, and I was like,
So I'm curious.
And I was like, whoa.
I'm curious if hurdlers actually rate that when they know it's over 39s, because he's going over 39.
Hey,
right?
Look, when you're the best ever, like you said, when you're the fastest ever to do something, and he took that record. I don't know what it used to be because I don't really know that much about like juniors and things like that. But now he ran that 12:72, and you watch the way it's run. It's like, man, this is amazing. So you got to give it full credit, full props. And with Paris hosting the Olympics in a few years, that's a perfect poster boy for that Olympics. But France always seems to have the best junior hurdlers, you know, year after year. I think the guy set the world record in 2014, Wilhelm Lotion, when it was up in Oregon. He set the world record at that time. But I don't think, you know, but then you look at him now, the seniors, and it's like, he's a decent art. He was a really good junior guy. I don't know the times, but then it's like, oh, he's a really good senior hurdler. But if you're telling me that this Sasha guy's going to come out here and then now, like, you know, win all these medals and do, I was like, hey, I'm gonna wait and see on that.
Yeah.
Because 39, you know, junior hurdles, the senior hurdles, two totally different events.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I love?
That 3 inches is just a game.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you know what I love? How David is like, I don't really know about these times or these heights. You were just about the win. Like, it's just, I don't know what this person's doing, what that man's doing. You know, where you have like, I heard like an Atto Bolden used to know every single thing about every single one of his competitors, what their best reaction times were, this, that. You know, you're like, yeah, I don't know that. I'm just about the win.
So you didn't study your competitors at all?
Oh, no, I just like to watch them and see what they did well. You know, it's like, oh, man, shoot, Liu Zhang, man, this guy's a monster. Wow. You know, I watched it more to just watch how great they were.
Okay.
were doing, but it was because why did it matter? I don't care. You know, if they were doing over there, those 10 hurdles had no bearing on what I was like, oh, if I get out, I'm gonna do this, or I didn't care about that. Like when you race people enough, you know, like with Robles, I was like, you know, I ain't never gonna beat this guy to the first hurdle, so I'm gonna just stay in my lane and see, you know, I should be able to catch up at the end. You know, you do know stuff like that, but as far as like, this flight time or that touchdown was this and that, you got paralysis by overanalysis as an athlete, and I wasn't really that interested. Now, as a coach, I love that stuff though. I love all of that data points and who's looking like this on their flight time, what this max velocity is, where they're hitting it at. And I love that. As an athlete, I couldn't care less.
Okay.
Couldn't care less.
Rivalries are brewing now with the women. As you can say, you tuned in. You weren't about to miss that 100 today. You said that, right?
Nah, no way.
So lead us by telling us who you looked at as rivals back when you were running, and tell me what you think about rivalries becoming more prominent in the sport today and the sport moving forward.
Well, rivalries, I think, are really important in the sport. For me, it's always hard in the hurdles because, you know, it's always so many good guys. Even say now with Grant Holloway, I wouldn't look and be like, Parchment is his rival because he beat him at the meet. I think Grant's rival is just the 10 hurdles. You know, because if he does that right, nobody will ever beat him.
Right.
You know, I won't say ever because injuries and things, but I mean, at this moment. So, I mean, that's always was my rival, was whatever the 10 hurdles was, because I needed to just focus and do that right, because it didn't matter what anybody else was doing, you know. But anyway, I know in like the 100 and things like that, it matters a lot. You know, these people wouldn't even race each other, if, you know, all that. You see the hurdles always line up together. You know, it was always.
Yeah, we were talking about that in one of the episodes, how people don't want to line up no more.
The men.
Yeah,
the men.
I don't know what it is.
The men 100-meter runners.
The men don't. I don't know.
Do it. The women, they're just in it. Like
Well, that's why the women part of track and field is the best.
They're killing right now.
Women's track and field.
They're killing right now.
Is the best. Like, yeah. And there's like watching the Olympic part, the women's was like, outside of like 400 hurdles and events I like on the men's side, the women's was the most entertaining thing to watch. I couldn't wait to watch the 100, the 200, the 400, the 800, all the relays. It's like, I couldn't wait. But the men, it was like, okay, yeah, this is okay. I'll catch that if I'm, you know, watching. I wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't appointment viewing.
Right. There he go right there. There he go right there. Dwight Phillips doing this.
Look at
I see you.
Yeah, he said he can give us 10 minutes before he heads over to dinner. Oh. You gonna stick around, right, David?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm feeling the gray in the beard, you know what I'm saying? You got a little very distinguished. You didn't put that gray in there, did you, for the distinguishedness?
You know, the one thing about it, you know, time has a way of just showing you the truth.
Oh, that's what it is?
I used to dye it black. I actually dyed it black for a while.
Oh, for real?
I'm just going to embrace it.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. This is happening every day.
Embrace the wisdom. Embrace the wisdom.
You look smarter, dude.
Yeah, of course.
You look smarter.
Yeah,
I can't even lie.
Right now, I just need to put on glasses.
Uh-oh.
I might put the glasses on next time.
Yeah. So Dwight's in Lausanne right now, ladies and gentlemen. Any viewers that got some questions for Dwight, as far as, and I got to mention, you know what I'm saying, perennial world champion, Olympic champion in long jump. He's doing a lot of things right now from the media side. Well, you got a streaming service. You do some photography. You do some coaching. What else you got going on?
Hey man, I'm just living my best life right now. I'm just joining all my passions and combining them together and just putting it in one big pot and just going with it, man.
What we all got in common here, including David and myself and Jade, is that we still attached to the sport in some capacity. You know what I'm saying? You find that a lot of people, when they're done, it's pretty cut and dry with track and field. Like when you're done, you're done. The fans don't care about you no more. Your agent ain't gonna care about you no more. You might have left, you know what I'm saying, with a bad taste in your mouth, and you find that a lot of people don't even watch regularly anymore, let alone contribute. So, I mean, I think it's really good that there's still some people that still care about the sport from back in the day, because we can always contribute in ways that are going to help it move forward, right? But Tell me what stood out to you about Lausanne tonight. This was the biggest audience I've seen since COVID. Really, this was the biggest one. Would you agree?
Number one, the crowd was amazing. You know, the people are pretty knowledgeable here in Europe generally about the sport of track and field. So the crowd was amazing. And then secondly, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, come on now.
Wow.
I mean,
she's
been getting it given to her for the last few weeks. And she comes back and like, hey, I'm still Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
You see in the face when she crossed the line, it was like, yo, like, take this.
Yo. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was great to watch.
Yeah. So,
and you know, I mean, I think it was a lot of hype for Warholm coming into the competition.
Yo, he almost ran the same time.
He's gonna run 42 seconds, and you know, it just shows you.
You know what I would.
He is a master at what he does. I mean, he doesn't really deviate that much from running a flat versus running the hurdles.
Yeah.
I don't know who in their right mind thought he was about to run like 42, 43 seconds, man. He's a rhythm monster.
Man. And there's some huge Karsten fans.
Rhythm, whether it's hurdles there, whether it's we've seen him, whether it's 300 hurdles, 400 hurdles open, he's going to stay in that rhythm.
Yeah,
exactly. Seen it over and over.
What impresses me about his race is he's sprinting. He's sprinting that 4 hurdles. That's what's impressive to me. It's not the fact that if you look at Rye, first of all, Rye would annihilate him in open 4. But Rye has to adapt to a rhythm and actually conserve his energy and displace throughout the race. Karsten's not doing that, yo. He's sprinting the whole race. That's what's separating him, and you see that with his open 4.
And in my opinion, Warholm runs with so much grit and heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that definitely has to play a role in winning major championships. Rye's more talented.
Good point.
Warholm runs with grit.
Right.
He runs with everything he has. He doesn't leave anything left on the table.
Yeah.
And I feel that if Rye does that, when he does that, we're gonna see something crazy.
Yeah, right.
Rye's gonna be a beast like when he like matures and gets up in there. But Warholm's too much of a dog. When I seen they was in the same semifinal, I was talking to the homies. I was like, ain't no way he's gonna lose this semifinal to Benjamin. I don't care. He's gonna come off that last hurdle sprinting in because he ain't about to let him lose. He ain't gonna lose no matter what.
Yeah.
And Dave, to your point, like, and that tells you a lot about somebody that's a champion. Like Rye could have won. He should have just pushed him. Because like Warholm sees in his head, I crossed the line in front of him. I'm gonna give it to him in the finals.
Yeah,
and that's what happens. So it becomes a psychological game.
Right.
Never let somebody cross the line before you.
Well,
no
that's
matter
the thing.
What.
That's the thing. When Rye, I think Rye was kind of doing some gamesmanship, feeling like, well, look, I'm ready to run 46 too. So let him do whatever he wants to do here. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Karsten, take your little semifinal. I know that's what he was thinking, yo. But Karsten is just, you're not beating me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You're not gonna beat me here. You're not gonna beat me in the final. It really doesn't matter. So I think that what he got served in the final wasn't what he expected. Right? I don't think he expected that. I think he thought he had a sauce for him. You know what I'm saying?
But really,
I think it's gonna be the same.
Who if you're running for?
I think the same situation.
That's the problem with Zoom. That's the problem with Zoom.
Go, David.
I was saying, I think that situation between Rye and Warholm is going to be kind of the same as like Jeremy Warner and LaShawn Merritt way back where LaShawn just couldn't, beat Jeremy. And then once he did, he never lost to him again. I mean, he may have, but I mean at the majors and things like that. Yeah. And I think it'll be the same thing. Rye Benjamin's upside is I think Warholm's probably about tackle. Rye Benjamin can go so much better.
If you think about the stats, he's running 19. He ran 43.
Yeah.
He ran 10-0.
He ran 10 flat.
What does that mean?
You know what I'm saying?
What does that mean in terms of
That's ridiculous.
What does that mean? Like the world record's 45.9. The dude ran 45.90. Like, who thought that?
Just like I was there in 2019 with Delilah, where Delilah got her and stuff. If Rye goes back and gets cleaned up,
good point.
World Championships, maybe not this upcoming one, but the next World Championships and for sure the Olympic Games, Rye is going to break the world record.
That's a good
for
point.
Sure.
That's a good point. So check this out.
Maybe in Eugene. Eugene is going to be.
The times are going to be crazy. Hayward Magic. The Hayward Magic, yo. The Hayward Magic.
Yeah.
Next year,
that's going to be crazy.
We're going to see some crazy stats. You don't know what other new shoe innovations are going to happen next year either, yo. And it's going to be on that Nike track, Nike
Wright can make so much technical advances in his hurdle technique. It's not even crazy.
Yeah.
He cleans that up, it's going to be over.
Yeah.
Because his flight time is a little long, and he leads with the right leg as a 400 hurdle, which keeps you to the outside. So you got to be real clean, like Delilah, who goes with her right most of the time. You know, she's real clean and tight over the top, but Rye's kind of wide right now. You know, like in first, especially down the back stretch, his arms are always kind of wide. When he tightens that up and gets quicker over the top, it's going to be over.
Yeah. It's going to be over. Because Sydney obviously improved their hurdle technique, right? So they had her coming out running the 60 hurdles, then the 100 hurdles.
She got a new camp though.
Yeah, I know.
But like,
she was working with an off leg. She was learning how to hurdle with both legs. She was running with her off leg in the short hurdles. So I guess it transferred over.
She's such a beast, man.
I mean,
she's crazy.
Different. She's different.
It's crazy. The talent level is crazy.
But you know what? Bowl is different too. She's a monster.
You're feeling bold.
I didn't realize she's like 6. She has to be 6 feet, half an inch, almost 6'1".
Oh, for real?
She's huge. I stood up next to her. I was like, "Yo,
I'm exactly the same height.
She's huge.
She's
tall.
You're
tall.
Y'all
I mean, like a giant.
Y'all miss it.
I'm standing 6'2".
Y'all missed the
I'm standing up 6'2".
Yeah, y'all missed the discussion earlier when Jade had to check out my height.
Wait,
Wait, what are you?
What did he say?
Hold on, say that again.
I said, you know, in my shoes, I'm like 6'2", but with my shoes off, I'm 5'11".
You got them Air
But
Forces?
most of the
You got
time,
them
I'm
Timbs?
standing above 6 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a problem, but you know, Ball, you know, me, those.
Ball's gonna be a monster though. Ball's gonna
she
be.
Only lasted once this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
She only lasted the Olympics. Other than that, she was winning.
Yeah, well, at the Olympic trials, Otto was saying like, "Oh, America's gonna sweep the 400." I was like, "No, the hell, America's not sweeping." I was like, "Y'all know, MK bowling." I see from indoors. I was like, and they're saying this girl's a 400 hurdler, and watching how she was running those indoor fours, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna kill."
Yeah,
she's going to kill.
And Dave, check it out. She just started doing hurdles in 2019.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. 2019.
Yo, so check this.
I had lunch with her.
Were you in Tokyo?
Yes, I was there.
Oh, okay. Coaching or on the
coaching? Yeah.
Because you coach Chantal, right? Malone.
Yeah, I coached her, Daria Kushina, and Lorraine, but it didn't go as planned.
Dang,
I promise you that.
I was about to divert, but I need to know what you think about being in an Olympics compared to when you were at an Olympics. You know, the whole COVID Olympics. Like, what was explain the huge differences that you noticed?
I mean, number one, you don't have any spectators. So that energy that the spectators give you, it kind of helps you transcend your performance a little bit better. I know at least it did for me. But I also feel that it doesn't matter if you have the world's best competing against each other. I mean, you could be on a concrete track, you can be on a basketball court. They're going to run fast. Right. So they delivered as we expected. But I mean, just being stuck in that bubble, that wasn't fun at all.
Were you in the village?
Yes, I was in the village as well. I mean, you know, everybody had the mask on. I mean, it just wasn't like the 2 Olympics that I attended back in 2000 and 2004. It was just a lot. I mean, everybody was just pretty much to themselves, to the team. And you know, I didn't feel like the energy was the same, but I could feel that sense of, camaraderie and all, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
You can't even venture off to go see other events. You know, I wanted to see some basketball, you know,
is it really
some trampoline.
What we were like, is this like really, really like what we know what the Olympics is? What we were seeing, it's like that's not what it was. Like no, you know, like and also as athletes, there's that whole, well, as we all know, there's that whole like do the stuff on the track and in the field. And then let's go and let our hair down, and like there was none of that happening. You're gonna enjoy it. You got to have that balance a little bit. You know, there was none of that. Like leave 5 days after bye.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you finish, you had 48 hours. You had to leave.
Imagine that. So, imagine not staying for the after party and just vibing with the team on a level where you're not even focused on the events no more. You could just be around each other. Right. You know what I'm saying? Have some fun and get to know each other. Get loose. You know what I'm saying? It's wow, man. Weird experience. But we would be remiss if we didn't ask you some long jump and field event questions. So first off, before we get to Rojas, there's been a lot of questions about Rojas in the comments.
Jesus.
The final three.
Don't get me started on her.
Let's talk about that, yo. How do we? I've seen the comments on Twitter. You know, saying you're not feeling it. We're not feeling it. Most jumpers aren't feeling it. Most athletes aren't feeling it. How can we eradicate it? Because you see what your boy come on, man, Olympic champion. I'm drawing a blank right now, yo.
Carl Lewis.
Nah, man, Olympic.
Which
right
one?
now,
the young man
guy.
from Greece.
Nah, the dude.
It's Rivera.
Yeah, the Greek guy.
The Greek guy won.
In the triple
It's
jump.
Herrera,
In the triple jump.
Oh,
PPP.
Picardo.
So you see that he's only doing one jump, and then he'll do the final 3 jump. So he's not doing all the jumps in the middle, which is kind of like
First
seemingly
round, last round.
like his protest to the final 3. This is stupid. So if you want to do this, I'm gonna do 2 jumps. So should everyone try to do that? Or is there another way around trying to get people to get back to the
it's a way to circumvent it. I think the best way is just for the athletes, everybody just pass their final attempt.
That would be the easiest thing.
And not do this?
And that way, it will force them. It will force them to have to change the program back to normal. Because what they're doing is they're taking that time, a slot for TV. So that'll be like there won't be a smart return on their investments to the athletes to team to just skip that final round.
Why are athletes not doing that? That's the simplest thing. If they're complaining about
it's hard to turn down that check. It's hard to turn down that check.
Don't you see the check though? You just don't get that last round mark, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, they'd still be top 3. Oh, so they split it 3 ways.
Yeah.
No, they just get their wherever they come in the top 5.
No, it'll just be in descending order.
Go down to the last round. Last round would be off.
Last round is round 5 instead of 6 because it's only one round.
I thought that the first 5 jumps were just erased, and then now it's just what you jump in the final round.
No,
because if you look, that's the whole point. When you look at the results, you still see the jump. If the jump from like round 3, you still see that as the winning jump. It makes no sense. It's
you
so
just walk down the runway and step on the board, and then move on. Everybody just walk down the runway, step on the board, and walk on off.
Yeah, or just
all the shot putter just go up there and do a toe foul and walk on off.
Yeah,
don't even throw the ball.
I'm so doing that. Like I don't understand why the athletes are not doing it.
The athletes have the control though. They don't.
Maybe they don't care that much. Maybe the athletes.
No, it's a new generation.
It's your future. What you're not understanding is what these people coming in saying some stuff about the event. We are the event. So why are you letting some next man come in and say, well, actually, I think we want this. Don't tell me what's best.
You know the problem, Jay. The problem I have is, okay, if you're going to do it at all these meets, and not do it at the World Championships or the Olympic Games, like it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense whatsoever. So I think that they just have to focus on presenting the program the exact same as they would a major championship. Otherwise, some guys, Tom, Dick, and Hank, they get in the boardroom and say, hey, we think this is a good idea. The athletes, they didn't, get any insight from the athletes. So now the athletes are just pissed off and just don't understand why, because Tom, Dick, and John said this is how it's going to be done.
I haven't seen one athlete say that
the
they like it.
Still control it though.
They absolutely
they don't have to participate in that part.
Yes.
And you don't realize that till you're done, yo. You don't realize that till you're done. But the athletes can absolutely make a change. I think at this standpoint, I haven't spoken to one athlete that likes it, but at this point, it's like it's a power thing now, to where it's like we're not going to not do it because the athletes told us not to. This is what we want to do, and this is what we're doing. And it's not. The athletes are going to have to take this by force. This is just an example. If the athletes come together for something like this, then, bureaucracy is going to know that the athletes are able to do that in the future, and they can't just put some bogus rules in that they just feel like doing and feel like playing with the sport and stuff like that. They're going to have to question some of the stuff that they're going to do, and athletes are going to have to come into play, because the athletes are going to come out of play if it doesn't go the way the athletes want it to go. So this would be a good first step.
Let them announcers explain why everybody's walking down and fouling in the javelin or in the triple or long jump or in the while they on that air time and nobody's competing.
Yeah.
And they
then it becomes a story. Then they got to do something about it. They have to.
I don't see anybody doing anything. So it's like, well, maybe they don't care as much as they're saying that they
That's
care.
what I feel.
Dwight, talk to some jumpers, yo. You still connected to some of the jumpers.
Talk
to some of them, yo.
I talked to them and none of them agree with it. But I'm saying, like, y'all have to make that sacrifice.
Right.
Like, you know, the people at the top have to make the sacrifice, you know, so that it can benefit everyone. But, you know, this little coin they're throwing at them, you know, they feel that they need it to earn a living because they don't have the same opportunities they used to. David, when he came on the scene, he ran 50 races. Right. Now you can't even run, you can't even compete 6 to 7 times. If you're not in the top 10 in the world, you're not even coming to Europe, period. Right. Forget about it. You know, so the people at the top have to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I see the same ones on TV every meet for the javelin or the women's triple jump or the men's long jump or women's long jump. It's the same people. Mm-hmm. You know, I know Brittany Reese said that she was boycotting. I think I read that on Twitter or something. Mm-hmm. It's like, should it be better if she went over there and then took a stand with the other young ladies that's out there competing and stuff? Yeah. Because y'all big dogs that get stuff done. The stuff is the changes come from the big dogs, like you said, man. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Nobody's gonna care about somebody with no medals and this, that, and that's talking about.
Yeah.
You see in MMA, they got the UFC, they got Bulldog Sport, they used to have Pride. There's different organizations. I mean, down the line, I mean, something like that in track and field, in order for, you know, athletes to get what they want, you know, some other organizations might have to come into play, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to change anything if you're the only place to go. So it's all these changes that we want with World Athletics, and why would they change? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to run? Just wait for the Olympics? Right, yeah. Fine, wait every 4 years, run at the Olympics. Fine, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? So
and get paid. Where are you going to go and get paid?
Exactly. And I know athletes would jump on an opportunity to jump into another organization if it was organized, if there's money, if there's places to compete, if there was a vibe, there's a push behind it, if it was polished. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I mean, that's why what Paul Doyle was doing this year with the ATL stuff, and you give that a few more years to kind of get rolling and get some more support and things. Like, it's a vast difference from what it was the first meet indoors to this last meet.
Right.
You just got to get things a chance to.
Well, yeah, I like that. He says a vast difference from what it was indoors.
But
it was.
They come back good though.
Yeah, it was.
That's what happens when you get support. You just build things. UFC didn't become UFC overnight.
You remember them early days of the UFC? Yo, they didn't have weight classes, yo. It was
Look, man, Paul got meets on ESPN prime time. We got to pay for Peacock and stuff to watch the Diamond League.
It's crazy.
You guys got to pay for that?
Yeah. Peacock, you got to pay for
that. Yeah.
Weird.
I pay for it because I like to watch
it's like $5 a month or something.
Yeah, it's like $5, but
you can't expense that to Howard, yo. You can't expense that to Howard. This is going towards your track knowledge, yo. This helping your coaching, yo.
But you got to support it, though.
Right.
You got to. You can't complain about athletes not having opportunities and all this stuff if you're not going to support when the opportunities are there to support. So every track meets on, try to watch it. Watch, the ESPN stuff, all that, because you just support it. You can't complain when you're not doing when you're not supporting.
Yeah, I had bought one of your streams, Dwight. It was one of the earlier meets. I can't remember which one it was. It was when Tumbleweed ran the relay. What meet was that? That
that was in IMG.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That was an IMG.
Did you want to talk a little bit about what you got going on with that?
Well, man, with the live streaming, really the ultimate goal is to give athletes an opportunity to transition out of sports, because they don't really give Black people the opportunity to embark on that role in the media. Mm-hmm. And I just have to be real with it, because when I was at the World Championships and I was a photographer there, and I see the people who represent sport out here competing, then I see the people who are delivering the narrative, and it just doesn't seem like there's any balance there.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
And I felt that it was something I always wanted to do. I got my degree in the media space, and so I just did it. I just started it, and we started off really shaky, but we're growing. We're building a good team of competent people, and I feel good about it. And we're just gonna continue to produce youth shows, and eventually we'll get to the bigger meets.
Yeah, big up the one name.
Well, I've got a question. Whatnot, that's his Twitter handle name. He said, he tweeted, he's like, I saw a tweet, he said, I think Dwight could still give us a 750 in the long jump. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
What do you reckon?
750? Well, I tried to race some of my girls, and I can't beat them. I tried to run some reps with them, and I'm like, man, I'm fat.
What?
I mean, I'm 208 pounds. I'm just fat.
What were you when you were competing? What was your jump weight?
My heaviest was 189. My best was 170. I won the Olympics at 189. I jumped my furthest at 172.
Ooh, 189.
But I'm fat though. I'm really fat.
You're legit fat now.
I'm fat.
But so were you always one of those?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm Otto Bowden fat or anything, or Maurice Green fat, but I'm more like it's developing down in the lower stomach area.
For real.
You know?
So you feel it when you jog and run and stuff like that. So if you
no, it's not that big yet.
It's not that big yet.
You feel it though.
You feel it though.
Like a silverback gorilla. If you look at a silverback gorilla, you can see like the stomach part is kind of hanging a little bit.
For real.
And the butt is kind of sticking out. I look like that.
Oh, serious?
Looking bad. I gotta run
David,
more.
are you gonna let yourself get?
Oh, nah. You know, I still work out, man. Now I do weigh like 230, but I was competing at like 218.
Oh, for real?
I think it's just my natural weight. I was competing like 215, 218, but they have to be real strict on stuff. But I mean, that's probably my normal walking around weight was probably gonna be about 230 when I got done.
You still hurdle at all?
No, hell no.
Okay, so you don't hurdle. You ever put your spikes on?
Hurdle?
You ever put your spikes on?
Man, I ain't put spikes on my feet since the last time I went over some hurdles for real.
Right.
Some spikes.
And you never put no spikes on?
I have.
Okay. Jade, that's what I was getting. Jade put spikes on, yo. She ain't joking around,
not
yo.
Recently.
Yeah, and not in a few months. But that's recently to her.
Distance. I'm not gonna go. They're not sprints or jump spikes. I'll put on my little middle distance. I still like to.
I'll just wear some shoes then.
Yeah.
Look, I made it all these years with no surgeries, blew nothing out except the hamstrings and calves. No surgery. I'm not about to tempt fate. You know, next I go over to some hurdle night talking about I got a torn labrum or some crazy stuff in my trail leg. Not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Hey, I run a mile about 3 times a week.
What?
Hard as I can.
That's big, man.
It's torture. I mean,
I would never.
Hold up, you're in shape.
Man.
No.
3 times a week?
I mean, I only ran like 6. I ran 640. That's not.
But you're doing it
much.
3 times a week though. Under 7 minutes is
Yeah.
cool. I used to do a mile every so often, and once I got under 7 minutes, I felt good about that.
See, now this is I don't have that in me. Those genes to run. What are you talking about? A mile? Like that's never gonna happen. I will run a maximum of 300 meters. I like to do weights. I like to do plyos. I'll do that. I'm not running a mile.
I'm strong.
But she's still.
Hey, I'm pushing up 275 for 10s on the bench.
Okay.
I'm squatting.
Okay.
I'm doing all that. But
That's
it's
where
the
that
running
batty,
part.
that silverback batty's coming in then. No?
yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah, I love lifting weights,
Oh,
but I'm not doing mileage and stuff, man. I try to get on the treadmill for a mile or something just at the end of the workout. But I ride the Peloton. I got one in my living room.
You got one of those? Yo, that's like the wave right now.
Yeah.
I ride the bike.
Do you do the
The
British
bike is
chick?
fun.
There's a British chick, right? That does it, I think. Some British.
I just put it on and I turn the volume off and put my music on and I just do
real.
the auto resistance and I just ride as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Resistance, and then I just turn it off. I don't follow along for the by what they say do.
Yeah, I don't lift what I used to. I don't lift heavy like that, but I still play ball. I can still dunk and everything. Like
man, I haven't tried to dunk it forever. I ain't dunking because I'm not about to blow something out. Jump up there.
I'm doing my thing right now in the basketball court. I can't even lie.
This one thinks he's
David, I'm always thinking about like when I want to demo a drill. I think about doing it. I was like, hey. Throw this drill. I'm always thinking about blowing something out because so many of my friends that are coaches, they blow it out. I can.
No, but do you not feel that your body is like that? Never crosses my mind when it comes to something like drills or sprints. If I think about jumping, which I haven't done for like, I'm like, I don't know about that because that's some different impact. You need to like actually do the training for that, or hurdles or something like that. But like drills and sprints and like no hurdle bounds, I'm good. I can. I don't think about it.
I don't do nothing without warming it. I wouldn't even hoop. Like, you know, back in the day, you go and hoop and you wouldn't even think nothing about it. Now it's like, ooh, I'm not even kicking this ball because I didn't stretch properly, you know, so I'll just toss it back, roll it back to the soccer team or whatever. I don't even want to boot this thing because I might pull my hamstring or something. I don't want to be hurt. That's why I stopped running.
It's crazy.
I wake up feeling fresh every day. No soreness, no injuries. I ain't got to go to no therapist. You know, I'm straight.
I remember hearing experience from and athletes from back in the day talking like this, and I just shake my head like, man, y'all ain't doing it right when you retire. That's what it is, yo. Y'all just old, and now it's like,
old, man.
Now it's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to this one. You didn't even touch a track. Like,
I never touched a track till I got with her. She's still doing repeat 150s and shit like that, yo. That's what I'm saying. Why would I do that, yo? Once I stopped competing, I was like, why do I even want to be on a track anymore?
I didn't even want to do that when I was running, let alone retire.
Man, like,
I remember one time I was in Florida, and it was like where remember used to train there with Brooks. And I had a flat out, Disney World, and I had a flat out 300, and you'd finished your session or whatever, and then there was like people were hanging around. I was like, why are they just go? I don't want to be shamed up. Like, why are you watching right now? I had a flat out 300. I was scared. You know when you're scared? I know that. Yeah. I was just like, I'm gonna die. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so shamed. I actually ran a PB. So maybe it helped.
It's not even no embarrassing. Every time we ran something, I was always in the back with the training group. If it was a flat out 3ers, I'd always finish last.
Oh.
Sure.
So, you know, last and in the back in practice, that was always my role in the back.
Yo, there used to be those people that would kill in the fall, and then there's some people who would be at the back during the fall, but once it's time to compete, yo, I was not a practice All-American. Yeah. Until you put hurdles out there, like, oh shit, this guy here must be pretty good. But anything other than that, I tried my best, but it just wasn't in my wheelhouse, man.
That's why you ain't doing it now. Do you know what? We're getting a couple of people are like messaging. They're like,
we got that bootleg Zoom, so we got like 7 minutes left in this Zoom call.
But the funny thing is, we got cut off for the last Zoom. We missed one at the time, and then like we just got like Aaron just got Sha'Carri on.
Yeah,
and she came on. She's like, hey.
Legitimately, right when she was like, "Hey, what's up, y'all?" But it's just you just gotta call back and it just starts back again. So it's whatever.
Still,
she came back on; it was all good. But the timing was crazy. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Y'all got the interview or something?
Yeah,
we spoke to her for a little bit.
Quick
Aaron was giving a tour.
Yeah, I hope she does well for like when she gets things on track again.
Mm-hmm. So we got to get you guys' thoughts on the whole Sha'Carri situation in the last 6 minutes we got with y'all. Like,
look at that face.
So
it's like,
So
well, shoot, to be quick, it's like anybody that thought she was gonna beat those people, they was out of their mind because it just didn't make any sense. People in track, I don't think anybody that was really in track had thought that she was gonna win Prefontaine.
Okay, but let me say this though, because of who she's become and her support system and what she has access to. And the way she was talking, I was like, dang, she got something up her sleeve, yo. Like, she got people around her that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. And for her to be talking like
but those people were gone at the Olympics for like 3-4 weeks.
It was, but you know what it was? When I saw she was entered in the 2 as well, I was like, hold up, yo, she's in shape. You're going to do the 1 and the 2 in one day? I was like, nah, she's trying to.
Or maybe she just had to do that because she's a Nike athlete.
Probably.
Prefontaine.
Well, I know that now. But anticipation-wise, I felt like something was going on, but the Jamaicans right now, I mean, you come off the Olympics, that's like maybe 9 extra races they got on her. Plus, you got the status now. You know, you got to bounce in your step when you got that Olympic medal.
Hey, man, look, they are revved and ready to go, man. You ain't going to sit down for a month, not have any proper training. Well, I don't know what the coaching situation is, but I know the head coach is over there in the Olympics for a month or however long it was. And I think that you're going to beat these folks. I don't think so.
But I thought that they were going to come back and be tired, at least. And they're going too
tired. Shoot, after the Olympics, man.
What?
You're not tired.
That's what I want to ask.
Well, the peak.
After the Olympics.
Did you see those block starts? Did you see the block starts that Elaine did the day before she ran that 10-5?
No. I was like, I had to check.
Right,
I was looking at the people in the background. Yeah, I was looking at the people in the background to see if it was fast forward or not, yo. But they were walking a normal pace. Nah, she was flying.
I knew it was a done deal. Well, I mean, when she ran 21-5. She ran 21-5. 21-5. When she ran that, I was like, nobody in the world, they don't stand a chance.
So
they just don't stand a chance.
Let me ask both of you before we go. So after the Olympics or world champs, right? You won the world, David. You've won the world's Olympics, Dwight. After that, you were not like mentally tired? You weren't physically, you just were ready to go again?
Nah.
Like, you're like, let's go.
Nah, I remember leaving from the games, and we went to Zurich, I think, or I don't know, whichever one of those meets was right after the games. And it's like when you got off the plane, it just was like a weight was lifted off your shoulders, and it was just like fresh air. I was like, oh, and then, you know, I went out there and ran faster there.
So it was fun. It was.
Like, wow.
It seemed like fun at that point.
Like that.
It seemed like fun.
Yeah, it was just the pressure is no pressure. You've done what you were gonna do. And it was just like a relief. And now you're just out there running relaxed. And I was, you're not tired. What? You can't be tired just running 100 meters, 110 meters, coming down the runway, like, 5-6 times.
Mentally, like you're like, that's what you build for, right? You build for that, and then after it's done, there's not like a drop, a mental like, ugh, I've got to get myself. No.
No, not for me. Everything. I mean, I wanted to completely destroy people every time I got a chance to. So I was motivated by that. It wasn't necessarily the Olympics or World Championships. I want to take one jump, sit down, and watch them pour their hearts out for 5 jumps. Yeah. And I just sit back, cross my legs, and like, oh, that was nice, you know. But I mean, I wasn't emotionally drained until the last meet, because maybe I went out, had a few libations,
some days
did a little too much. But other than that, no, it was about complete domination.
Wow.
Yeah,
not emotional. Win. Yeah.
You gotta win. You can't come back and winning like Olympics, Worlds, whatever, and then start getting scraped up.
Well, it would have been a bad look.
People give you a pass, but you know you can't give yourself a pass.
Yeah.
Oh, when they came from the Olympics, whatever, but nah.
The ego's too big.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're the champion, you gotta win afterwards. So to see how Elaine's gonna respond to what happened today is gonna be interesting, because I think she expected to just kind of run into the sunset with the rest of these meets. I don't think she expected.
I don't think so.
You think she thought Shelly was gonna get her? I think she thought she had Shelly.
There's no way she would ever go to a meet and think like, I can take Shelly for granted.
No,
it's nothing.
No,
I think personally, I think it was getting to that point. I think it was getting to that point because she was handing it to her every single time they were competing, as long as she's healthy.
See, you know what Shelly's capable of. When you have competitive respect,
right?
You'll never ever go to a meet and think that you can like. I think about myself. I lost the lineup and it was Lou and Robles, all these people, Terrence Jamel, Allen, whatever. I knew it didn't matter what. I was like, I have to be like, if I don't do well, I'm going to get scraped up. Mm-hmm. But then if you might look around at some other people, you're like, it doesn't really matter. They can't run as fast as I can run. Shelly can run as fast as Elaine. If Elaine ain't on point and is just a little bit slower than what she would be, Shelly could win.
It was cold out there today.
Was it?
It was cold out here tonight too. Oh, it was chilly.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it probably was 58, 59. So I mean,
that's freezing. Hold on, 58, 59.
Yeah. It was cold. Yeah, it was literally cold. And then Shelly-Ann, you got to think about yesterday at the press conference. She was just basically like, you know, she's closer to the world record than me, but she's a killer.
Yeah.
A killer knows the only thing you know how to do is compete.
So check this out.
It's one thing when you're lined up with like Richardson or something that maybe not reached your times and hasn't reached the accolades you've reached. It's a different story when you go up there with Shelly and she's done everything that you've done. She probably got 1 million medals, won all these worlds, been doing this since 2008.
Yeah.
And has no drop off. You ain't never going to a meet thinking you're going to beat her.
So check this out. Our viewers been wanting to talk about the whole Sha'Carri situation. We got about 20 seconds left in the Zoom call. If you want to jump back in on the call and talk about what's going on with Sha'Carri, I know the viewers have been wanting to talk about that. Dwight, I know you said you want to deep.
Yeah, we'll jump back on. I'll jump back on.
Just hit that link once this call ends. We'll get the back. So yeah, that's.
I love the fact that, you know what, I obviously clearly wasn't meant to be a champion. That's why I didn't win no medals. Well, actually, I'm chatting rubbish. Those Russians teeth my medals. However, I was done after the Olympics. I'm done. I was after the Worlds. I'm done. I did a couple meets, but I wasn't like. I didn't have that killer instinct. This is what I love to see. I love to see the fact that these guys. It doesn't matter whether it's the Olympics, what they just want to win.
Right.
In me, I think it was more against
win no matter what.
I didn't have that. I didn't even have that. I don't know. I never had that killer instinct. That's why I'm like, I'm probably never. That's why I went winning all the.
I think that's what separates the goods from the greats.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
it's the mentality. It's not talent.
No.
Everybody got talent. The only thing that separates the people that make it and the ones that don't is the temperament. That's the only difference between anybody. Dwight and all those great jumpers that was doing 870 in that period with like Saladino and the Italian guy and some other dudes where it was always like a heavy competition. The winner of that was always going to be whoever had the best temperament.
Well, I think another thing that comes into play is the American aspect of it, because you guys got to be on all the time, right? Other countries have the luxury of building towards the championships. So when other countries, whether it's Great Britain or whether it's Canada, you get to the championships, once that's done, it's kind of like, well, we were building towards this, now it's done. That was the climax. You guys are at climax the entire time, because you got to buck heads of trials, you got to buck heads on the circuit, you gotta maintain your ranking like for your sponsorships and stuff like that. You gotta hit certain times to keep a deal and stuff like that. So you guys are like always on it, because you got to be in a certain ranking, right?
And also, I think it's important.
There is no level of comfort as an American.
Exactly.
Field athlete.
And
exactly.
Also, you guys have such depth. Like in this country, there's like, for me, for instance, there's no one. I think it's super important to have depth in your country, so you never ever switch off. There's no off day. You're just on all the time.
Switching off.
Whereas, that was only when I went to a major championships, or I went. There was no one in the country. Do you know what I mean? But also, I think I was a different athlete. It's funny. I used to like when someone like effed with me. Like if someone messed with me, then it's all. I'm like, I had this. I just was not enough. Like I didn't like my competitors. I just did not like them. Like why would I like? I didn't like them. But I loved it if someone messed with me. Then that would switch my brain. But if everyone's nice and trying to. I just found it really difficult to get up in that way.
Jay, today's athlete, everybody are friends.
That's the problem. I saw your tweet. I saw your tweet about that.
Like David, I would see guys in the 100 meters sitting down having lunch at the Olympics.
That's so crazy.
In the village, they're having lunch together, talking. I'm like, I couldn't imagine Maurice Green and Michael Johnson just sitting down talking. Like, I mean, that's not going to happen.
Liking each other's pictures on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, I was talking the other day about how they be like going through each other's playlists and sharing songs before they got to warm up and stuff like that. You got to hear this track.
Like,
different generation, man, but they still bringing it with the results, though.
They
so,
do.
I mean,
they do.
However you get it is how you get it. So, I mean, that was
just different.
We were friends, all the hurdlers, I was friends with them. I mean, I wouldn't say we was best friends, but I loved having a great training group. You know, you could be rivals, but you could be competitors, but you just don't have to take that rivalry over the edge when the competition is over.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Because I always looked at it as I'm racing these 10 hurdles anyway. What everybody else was doing had nothing to do with me.
Right.
But if I came down the runway and jumped 890, Dwight, that has something. Dwight got to come down there and make an answer.
Yeah. Straight up.
Okay, so Sha'Carri, the latest on that is the whole situation with Allison Felix on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel asked Allison Felix a question about Sha'Carri and what's going on with her, and her response, and because she was asked, she said that it's very important for us to support Sha'Carri during this time right now, and whatever she's going through, and a very compassionate response, simply because she was asked. So if you could
so her response, Alison's response was, we should give Sha'Carri Richardson the support she needs, right? Did you guys see what happened with what Sha'Carri responded? So she
saw a meme or something on Twitter,
an Instagram story.
So she said, encouraging words on TV shows are just as real as nothing at all. That was her. And then, but the crazy thing is, like, now she messed with the Queen. Now,
you're already messing with the Jamaicans. That's not good. The Jamaican's gonna go hard. She might not ever get to go vacation down there at this rate.
But apparently, her girlfriend is Jamaican, so
yeah, so we heard.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. When they was just social media, I look at this stuff. Social media ain't real life.
Yeah, that's not confirmed yet.
All this stuff, probably to see her in the streets and be like, "Oh, can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph?" These same people that's talking about her on social media. So that shit ain't real life. So who knows?
But Allison, to people, seemed off limits for whatever reason. Now,
I think that.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Oh, I was just saying, I think that, when you're on the up and you have that support, it's all fine and dandy. But when you're falling down that slope and then the people who were supporting you, they're not supporting you anymore. You know, I think that's where the athletes, they fall short and they start having the mental stuff that they have to deal with. And that's where it gets really difficult. And that can take you to a dark space. So I think her maturing, she's got to mature. She got to mature right now. Or, I mean, she's going to fight an uphill battle.
But she's 20.
For a long time.
She's 21 years old. Think about you at 21, Dwight. Think about you, David, at 21. Yeah. Like, and then think about you towards the end of your career. It's like and just as a person, forget being an athlete, just as an actual person, how you mature. So obviously she's going to be making mistakes, but she's like in full eyes. And obviously we've been speaking about this. It's a different world these young people are on with the whole social media and stuff, right? But the
mistakes we made were not publicized unless somebody typed it on Facebook.
Exactly.
Nobody was
Facebook, yo.
But she's around some people who've done it.
MySpace.
But she's around people who's done it at the highest level. Yep. She's around people who done it at the highest level.
Yeah.
You know, she's around it every day. I mean, she's around Gatlin.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he holds, you know, I'm sure he gives her insight on things that she should do, you know, because he comes with a tremendous amount of longevity and just experience. Now it's going to be up to the athlete themselves to whether they're going to listen to it or take that.
You got to be able to receive it. Just like Jay said, like think about 21. What you were receiving as information at 21 probably processes different than if you receive that same info at 31 with your life experience.
And, you know, like what you were just saying, Dwight, about like she trains with Gatlin, and Gatlin was like at one point one of the most hated people in track and field. Like he got all the hate, right? Everyone was hating on him. So he knows what that feels like. He knows how to navigate. And, you know, he was, you know, doing certain things that were making people hate him more. So I'm assuming that he's obviously given her, but she wants to do, what I don't understand is what is the problem with someone being who they are? David, you've just spoke about how you were as an athlete and how you just think about this. That's who you are. Totally different than so many other people. Dwight, you're totally different. Anson's totally different. We're all different. This is who she is. Whether you like her or you don't like her, whether you like her personality or don't, who are you to really tell this girl how she should be or how she shouldn't be? What do you do? Does she know you? Do you do anything for her?
Nobody's got that. Right.
This is my issue. This is my issue.
But you do have to take, if you're going to talk shit, you always have to back it up or be prepared for the criticism. That's why I never talk shit. I'm like, man, I don't want to go out here and get scraped up.
Criticism, but then there's some like nasty people.
Few things.
Yeah, there are some nasty people.
That's social media. Everybody's talking tough behind screens. And if they saw her in person, they'd be the first ones trying to get a picture with her. So I don't think that ain't real.
So
that ain't real.
I've heard a lot of people saying that, you know, she needs to have done something, but a lot of people forget she's 21, like she hasn't had time to do it yet. She's very confident, you know what I'm saying? But let me give y'all a scenario real quick. Say there's an athlete that you really look up to that's been in the game for a while that has never said a peep to you, not one word. Okay. Then, and you're an up and comer. A lot of people know that you're up and coming. You're dealing with a lot of media issues and trying to grow within the sport. This person's not said one word to you. Then you see them in some interview talking about how you need support and how people need to back her. You know what I'm saying? Say you actually looked up to this person and wanted them to say something to you. Maybe you tried to talk to them and they didn't really, and you see them go and say something like that. What kind of response would you have to that? And whether or not you make it public or not is another thing. But I mean, to see someone do that, how would you respond?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like with the Allison situation, I don't think she was prompted. I don't think she said anything crazy. She said to support her. I would love for people to say, hey, support him and what he's doing, all that stuff. It's like, okay, cool. At least I got, one of the best in my corner that's, offering some support. And we can always call, whatever, reach out. It ain't that hard to reach out to folks, but it ain't like she opted this up on her own. So, but I mean, like you said, we never know how people are going to react to things you say and how they're going to receive it. So, I mean, if she received it negatively, at least Allison would know going forward, like, hey, look, well, anytime somebody asks me about this young lady, I'm just going to say no.
Hey, Jay, I agree with you. Like, people shouldn't tell you how to act. But see, I've come from the hood where, 18 and 19-year-olds, they're in a trap selling dope. And you know what I'm saying? It's not the right thing to do. they get banged up and they act a fool, and then you say, hey, you can act any kind of way you want to, but no, there are some rules to the game. There's some unspoken rules to the game. If you're gonna talk shit, that's okay. You can talk shit, but just know if your shit talking doesn't add up to what you're talking about, people gonna have some stuff to say.
But I don't have no problem with anyone having something to say.
That's what it is.
And I don't think she does. She cracks me up. Like I don't think she has any problem with people having something to say.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
like,
she loves it.
She don't care, yo.
She doesn't care. She loves it. But the thing is, I'm like, forget her. She's better than me. Because she's obviously going with it, and because I couldn't cope with all of that, like that much hate, and that I'm not made for that, because I just want to just fight everyone or something. I don't know, right? But with her, she doesn't have a problem, I don't think, with if she doesn't do good, people coming in and chatting. But my thing is, it's some of the people are just going too deep, like they're saying too like. Serious hate.
People are angry.
Like, why are you so
They're
angry?
angry.
I mean,
that's not anybody you know in real life. It's fake people on the internet.
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm saying, man.
Nobody hates on a day-to-day basis.
But David, you said it earlier. You said it earlier. You could see 10,000 good comments. You see one bad comment, and it just affects you. It could be a troll. It could be anyone, but you see it, and it affects you.
It's probably trolls, man.
It is, but it's just.
But I don't think she minds with the trolls, because she's liking comments that's like trolls are posting and doing.
She loves it.
Seriously, man.
But that's what makes
she
her
built for it, yo.
The most highly anticipated. I mean, she's great, man. But hate is just in our sport. That's just part of it. I mean, I was at the World Championships in England, and everybody in the stadium was booing Gatlin when they called his name.
Yeah.
If you want to feel hate, that's what we call hate.
Yeah.
We're used to it. We built for it.
Yeah.
She's
real life hate. Those are real humans up in the stands doing it, booing. But when you're just you carrying your bulletproof like that, it don't matter. That's why when Gat won, I was like, hell, it happened for him. And
he
that.
handled that very well. That was impressive, man. The way he handled.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gonna do the same thing, because watch, she's gonna win. I don't know.
She's gonna come back.
She's gonna win
10-5s. She's gonna be crazy.
She's gonna win.
Yeah.
Because you watch her run, and you're like,
it's beautiful.
Wait till she's 25.
It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I ever seen.
And
she's 25.
And
she's going to win.
It's the most beautiful thing I ever seen.
Elaine,
a man or female, I haven't seen anyone run with that type of mechanics. It's just
Elaine.
I mean, it's art.
Elaine.
Poetry in motion.
Elaine,
she's hit it.
Elaine,
she's hit it.
To me, technically,
she's hit it.
Technically, she's very
ridiculous.
She's hit it, but still, it didn't look as clean as Sha'Carri. It still didn't look as clean.
Now that you mentioned it,
it was faster.
It just doesn't look as robotic. It just doesn't look as robotic when Sha'Carri does it.
Yes.
That's the only thing. That's the only knock I have on Elaine. She does everything right. It just looks a little stiff. That's the only thing. But Sha'Carri, when she's up, obviously she has to clean up the first 10, 20 meters.
Yeah.
But once she's up,
that comes with maturity, though. Sometimes
maturity,
greatest accelerators when they're not as strong at 20 years old as they're going to be at like 25 and become a better accelerator.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Elaine, at 21, she ran like 11.4, 11.41.
Yeah, Elaine wasn't Elaine back in 2014.
This is what I'm saying. At 21 years old, Elaine ran 11.41. So what, like she had, but by the time she hit like 20, I think she was like 25 or 26 when she won her medal. And that, but you'll get another one, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, at 20 years old, she wins the Olympics in 2008. So it's like everyone.
Now at 35, she just ran 10.60.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean,
people keep bringing up.
She has been, but I mean, like I was saying to Anthony today, when Frano said in 2014 or 2015 that Elaine Thompson was going to be the one.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember he said she was going to be the one.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, this girl's not even running fast. It's almost like when Asafa first came on, and I forgot what meet he ran at, because Osmond was telling me the first meet. I can't remember what it was, where it was at. But, he won, or maybe it was in Sweden somewhere.
Right.
And, he only ran maybe, I don't know, 10-1 or something, like 10-0 something. It's like, I thought they were saying this guy's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. And then all it takes is because you can see stuff in practice nobody else can see.
Right.
And, looking at Richardson, it's hard for me to believe that, when she's 25 or something, that barring injuries and things like that,
it's going to be very
that she's not going to be winning a lot.
Yeah.
People keep on talking about this tweet she liked, right? About, I guess she liked some tweet about Jamaicans walking barefoot and
I never saw this. So
yeah, she liked a tweet that had something to do with having to walk barefooted to coconut trees for a living. she apparently liked.
She's just petty.
She liked
the tweet. Now everyone's calling her.
I didn't see that.
Everyone's saying she's xenophobic. Like she hates people from other countries because of.
But you guys just said that her girlfriend is from Jamaica and stuff. So I think she just likes controversy.
How thin has skin become these days? You know what I'm saying? Like I understand it was a liked tweet that may have offended some people. I understand that, but to say she hates people from Jamaica now because of that tweet is like. And my parents are Jamaican. I wasn't born in Jamaica, and people might say, "Well, you're not Jamaican, really." But to have a hint of offensiveness, I didn't really see anything from her liking the tweet. If you see what she's taking from people on a daily basis, for her to like a tweet and everyone be like, "Oh, she liked the tweet. Yeah. She's xenophobic. She's whatever they're trying to say." It's like, well, what's been going on over the past few days? You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's why I always say social media ain't real life, man.
And this is where the 21-year-old side of being defensive and making some wrong choices and like basically being pulled into it, whether she likes the drama, whether she likes it, whatever. I'm not saying that she is handling everything the way that she should or she shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. It's not about that. What she's doing, I'm sure she's making some mistakes. She will learn. She's 21 years old. My thing is, we've got grown-ass adults talking to this young girl in a way like, chill out.
Yeah.
This is all I'm saying. Look, I'm an adult. I'm 41. She's 21. I'm 20 years older than her, right? All I'm going to say, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm half Jamaican. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, this is so, like, dude, you need to maybe chill out. You're doing a bit too much. Maybe, you've stepped
They're looking for anything on her. Yeah. You're looking for anything.
That's it. And
once you start in that spiral.
She liked the tweet.
I have to go.
Oh, okay.
Eat, God.
All right.
Respect for the tweet.
Good seeing you.
Respect.
I'll see y'all.
Yeah, respect. Yo, cool.
But when people just look for stuff and they don't care what you do, they want to just find something. So I mean, that's just the reality of what it is in the position she's in right now. And maybe she's just cool with being the full heel. She's gonna make a whole heel turn. And I mean, she's talked about in every last thing, ESPN, everywhere. And we're not even spending time talking about these other great American sprinters like T. Daniels that's out there running personal best, fresh off the Olympics, doing her thing. And it just, she just puts her head down and been grinding since, I knew her when she was in high school and just, people like that, we were going to spend hours talking about, Richardson and, rightfully so, she's very fast, but
there's a lot going on in the sport.
A U.S. championship as well, went to the Olympics and performed well, got a medal on the relay. Those are individuals that we could, why are we not talking about Thing Mo or Sydney Moore and all these other brilliant athletes?
Yeah. I think it's because I'm a person, that's the topic. And I think that the Sha'Carri thing has taken a lot of the headlines, but I spoke about this. I'm like the biggest Thing Mo's like fan. Like I love her. I just love what she does for the sport. So I do feel like, to be honest, there does need to be a little bit more talk about the people that are doing amazing things and not necessarily all the controversy. But this girl should be the face of everything for track and field right now. What she's done and what she's achieved and how her grace, she's got everything. So I do agree with that. There's so many other performances and athletes.
You got Allison kind of segueing out. Unfortunately, we won't get to see the GOAT perform much more, which is unfortunate. But it comes to an end for us all, unfortunately. But we're segueing right into a great group of young women that are getting it done. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Sydney and Mo, and some of the sprinters and Gabrielle Thomas and all these other young women that look amazing. They perform amazing. They're doing amazing things away from the track. I think those individuals should be being highlighted far more than the controversy. We all know controversy sells. So that's how it is in culture. And but there's still time to talk about those young women that are being absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like, why do you think that those aren't getting attention, those results, those people, those figures?
Because they just run fast, and everybody runs fast and track that win.
Is that not a problem though? Like, obviously the times ain't getting the eyes. You know what I'm saying? So if we care about the sport moving forward, how do these individual athletes make themselves accountable for why they're not being spoken about, why they're not news, why they're not? Because I think there's a lot of people saying, well, why don't we focus on this? Well, why don't we focus on that? Cool, but why should we focus on this? Why should we focus on that? That's where the athletes have to become accountable, right? Like, why should I watch you? You know what I'm saying? Why should I be impressed with you? Because you're fast? Okay, cool. Well, what else?
Yeah, but does everybody have to be extravagant?
No. That's my point. You don't have to be. It's like there's one extreme to another. You're extravagant or you're boring. There's so much range between
social
that.
Media, you can tell your own story. Nobody else can stop you from telling your own story on all these social media outlets and build your own personal following.
Right.
You know, that nothing can stop you. It's not back when we were running and there was nothing that you had to rely on, you know, going to meets and, you know, press conferences, doing those things to get noticed. These kids can go out there and tell every last story that they have on their own platforms now.
Right.
So you can become interesting if you are interesting. I don't think I never found myself to be that interesting. I just went to run. That's it. Like, all I wanted to do was run.
But this is the thing, right? Our sport, which is unlike many other sports, there's so many events and therefore there's so many athletes. And so you have an array of different types of people. Now we know that controversy basically sells. People, it's either sex sells or controversy sells, right? People want to see those things. That's what people kind of tune into, whether they like it, they have opinions about it, whatever. But obviously great performances are great to watch, but that's not gonna be something that's necessarily gonna bring. There's got to be something else. Like the sport's got to be a little.
There's got to be something else.
There's got to be something else. Whether it's like there has to be a level of authenticity. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to see all these robots out here just saying all the expected answers and responses, having this you know, stoic demeanor every second. Like no one cares about that. No one wants to see that. And say something. Let me know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think.
But it's like, say what though? What would say what that would be of that interest, that much interest to the masses?
Okay, now say the Jamaicans, right? We know that they've, you know what I'm saying? We hear all the time that they've had, you know, rough upbringings. You know, they've had situations throughout their lives they had to overcome. Like, as far as letting us into that when the time presents itself.
About the story.
You know what I'm saying? Give us a story, yo. Give us something. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to.
It's like that's the same trope from everywhere, and you see with the basketball players over here. Everybody comes up, oh, they didn't have
people watch.
Parents.
But people watch. People become engaged. You become engaging. You're a human now.
You know what? I remember at the US trials, they did that whole thing, like on NBC, they were doing the stories on like some of the athletes and the behind the scenes and going. Me personally, I like that. I love Delilah. I feel like Delilah, but to me, she was a little bit subdued. Like I didn't really feel like, other than her technique and what she was doing, but personality-wise, she was quite quiet, right? I didn't really know nothing about her. When I saw her story, her family, where she came from, I was like, oh, it makes sense. Okay. Oh, I'm rooting for her way more, because guess what? You know what performances do? They get you in your head. They get that head. What the story does is it gets you in your heart. Which one is going to last longer? Which connection is going to be something that's
it's going to be the connection to your heart, and you know it's always going to be.
So it's not an athlete issue. Maybe it's a media issue. You know,
that's the media, because the athletes, we're only on TV for 10 seconds to do 100 runners.
It's a media issue. So
how much can you do in 10 seconds, even with a 1 minute, 2 question interview at the end of the race? What can you really accomplish in that?
Right.
The story's got to be told. That's where post-race shows, Absolutely. You guys coming on, getting these athletes in, the athletes doing things on their own. I mean, nothing can stop
features, mini docs.
Hiring a film company and filming their own 24/7 type of like HBO did leading up to the trials or something like that.
Right.
You know, what stops you from doing it?
Have you seen some of those, what is it called? The World's Greatest?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen some of those videos?
There's these, like, they did.
No, I haven't checked them out.
Yeah. I came across them by accident, but they're doing some unique things with the athletes where, you know, you see a different side of them. You know, I think maybe the athletes just need opportunities.
Stuff. Yeah.
Maybe the athletes just need opportunities to show who they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are you doing all the time? Like outside of these 10 seconds or 50 seconds or whatever I see you on the track, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yo, let me acknowledge some of these comments real quick. My apologies. Look, no one's asking for no UFC shit. No one's asking for people to get mashed up at a press conference. I'm saying show some personality. It's always one extreme to another. It's either be boring or be fighting. Use your brains, yo. I'm not saying anyone needs to be fighting. I'm saying let me see who you are. Stop giving these bogus comments. Yo, think. There's so much range in between that. Mm-hmm. You guys, like some of you guys are smarter than you're sounding right now. No one's asking for no fights. I'm saying we want some drama. We want something. We want a story, just like any other sport. That's what we want. Track athletes can't just be about stats and times. It's not selling.
Are built for it. Some athletes are built for it. Like David was saying, you were never built for that life, right?
Man, if they would have called me saying USA Track and Field or whoever comes to my, hey man, we want to do a 24/7. We want to follow you around for this fall, and we're gonna release episodes every week about. I'm like, oh hell no, I ain't signing up for that. But I'm not signing up for that.
Yeah,
that wasn't my personality. But it's a lot of athletes.
But David, wait a second. You used to talk. Like I let you say this before, but you used.
I'm never gonna be at a meet talking shit to opponents though.
You haven't stopped running that long, Doc. I was there, Doc. Like, don't do that. Like, come on, man. You had a side to you, and the thing is, better than anybody, the athletes are doing it amongst themselves. Yeah. Whether they're doing it amongst themselves, the talking shit, or with their camps or whatever. So whether or not you want to do it outwardly, it's up to you. Don't if you don't want to, but there should be a freedom to do it if you want to. And then
I think there's a lot of athletes that would love it. I was saying to Anson, like you've got your agent, right? You've got the agents. Mm-hmm. You know that there's a big meet. Let's say in the Prefontaine or whatever, leading up to that, right? You've got your agents. You know that you've got the press conference coming up. Let's do a little, you see it in boxing. We're not saying mash people up. No, we're not saying that. But let's just say your agent speaks to that agent and they're like, look, we know that there's going to be a hype around this. Let's give them a little something to play with. One athlete might be like, hell no, that's not in me. I don't want to do that. But there's going to be plenty of athletes that would love that. They're like, say a little 1-2 thing, and then it brings hype. It brings a little bit of excitement, but the athletes are in on it. It's not like the athletes are being set up. The athletes are in on it. They understand what that could potentially do for their profile, what it could do for the sport to bring a little bit of, a little bit more excitement in. I'm like, why would that not be something people would do?
Yeah, VJV.
Yeah, I don't know.
VJV, I'm not just acknowledging you as far as that's concerned. I mean, throughout the comments, it's been happening a lot. And I got in this little Twitter dispute as well with this cat acting like I'm saying that I want these people to be at each other's throats. No one's saying that, man. Like, it's just a matter of I want to feel the competitiveness because it's there. It's not like they're making it up. We know it's there. I want to feel it. As a viewer on this side now, I want to feel it because I know what it is. And it's not what's being displayed.
But let's say on the flip side, though, people that like track and field and is going to watch no matter what, like those people, they don't need that. So I don't know. I think track is a
track can't be for track fans, man. Track can't be for track fans. Track can't be for track fans. It's bigger than the track fans.
It's like a niche sport, though. It's not. I don't think that track is a sport because it's like you said, it's too much to follow.
Oh,
if I'm a guy that loves the throws, I'm gonna watch the throws. You got people that watch track and field that when the 3,000 steeplechase comes on, they like, oh, I'm out.
Well, it's lunch break, it's washroom break.
Yeah, you're not a track fan. You like certain things.
Right, of course.
And I think that's what the majority of track is outside of like the Olympics. And I think they only like Olympics because of the stories, because the Olympics tell stories. And that's why those things are on NBC and all those types of things, because they want to tell stories. It's not really for fans of the sport.
Right.
That's why USA basketball games don't come on NBC, because nobody really cares about like USA basketball games in prime time. They're going to show the gymnast they can tell the whole story about, or the track athlete nobody knows, and they can tell those stories.
Right. So for that to cross over throughout in the middle of the quadrennial, as opposed to just every 4 years, why can't that happen?
I don't know. I just don't think track is a sport for that. I think it is like going to be for hardcore niche fans.
It's because it hasn't been for that. Now, if you think everyone,
I think it has been. Because remember, we used to have wide road of sports and doing all those types of things way back, and then somewhere along the way,
people would watch. But that was back.
But Howard, what's there to watch now when there's only 6 meets a year to go to?
But that's the thing. You have to those 6 meets have to be produced and presented in the most amazing fashion. The rivalries have to be highlighted. The characters have to be highlighted. The stories have to be highlighted. Make the most out of those.
You got to get folks to line up, though.
okay.
And I think
that's
would.
another thing. But if you pay them, they will come.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to take that into account as well. If you really want, we ran through that 40 minutes quickly. This will probably be the last call. We got 10 minutes left. Yeah, 10 minutes. So yeah, if you pay them, they will come. If it's presented well and if it's a spectacle, the athletes are gonna want to do it, yo. Like to line up against someone where you're not necessarily going to get the money that you want, and you kind of give them you take a L when you don't really want to at a crucial part of the season. Why gamble it? You know what I'm saying? If it's something, I'll gamble it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be on TV. A lot of people are watching.
But that's what we're talking about. Even the women now, they're lining up against each other regardless. They're lining up against each other.
They just think different.
It's just
they're on one right now.
I said this from a long time ago, like at the beginning of the season. I was like, why the women will line up, the men don't line up. You know, obviously you need them lining up to get that, but they do need to pay them. They need to make it a way better presentation of how they present the sport, because even like today, the stream came on and then they showed Carson and then just straight away into the run. Like they didn't even do the lineup. Like what the hell is this? Like what?
Yeah, even this, I don't know.
Elaine ran 10:54 the other day.
Like it's not an athlete team.
Right.
It's a media presentation, meet director, meet promotion.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Because we got so many
all Elaine and Shelly was out there for was 10.6 seconds. There was no interview. That's what I'm saying. That's where a post-race show comes in. You get the interviews with Shelly. Yeah. Just like they do in every other sport.
Yeah. NBA on TNT.
That's where you start getting people interested in stories that might happen. You know, you could ask her, hey, you know, have a sit down. Hey, we have a feature, you know, one-on-one sit down. We're sitting with Sha'Carri Richardson and, you know, talk about stuff in the midst of the show, just like they do NFL Countdown and all these other pre-game, post-game shows for all these other sports. That's how media can help to get these people to move it from a niche sport into something that's more mainstream.
Right.
I mean, but it has to be, the athletes only can control it so much. If I show up in the Diamond League and it's supposed to be the Lausanne, but they don't have my event, or, you know, I'm watching this and it's like, wow, this is the best race after the Olympics, you know, and they'll say the 110 hurdles, but, you know, heck, the Olympic silver medalists ain't there. You know, who are these people in this race? What is the draw for me to watch this? Why?
Right.
You know, I look at the start list and I'm like, I'm not really that interested in this. Oh, I'm definitely watching that. I'm gonna set an alarm.
So true.
You know, just like Prefontaine, when was that 100? Oh, it's at 441.
They did a great
That's what I'm saying.
They did a great job. Prefontaine got the lineups straight after the Olympics.
Yeah.
But it's because it's Nike though, because you got to do Prefontaine.
And they're seeping.
He always had to do Prefontaine.
Oh, you had to do it. It's contracted.
Yeah. They're seeping into other contracts too. They're seeping into other shoe companies' contracts too. You got to go to Pre, even if you're with Puma or with whoever, because.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's pretty. Hey, look, man. We need matchups though.
We do.
Every time I turn on the TV, I want to see, you know, if it's 400 hurdles, I want to see Rai Benjamin, and I want to see the Brazilian guy, and I want to see Warholm. You know, I want to see that. I don't want to have to wait 4 years so I can watch them race against each other.
Absolutely.
So matchups are crucial. We can.
So
all
maybe
agree.
these people need to get together, get with all these agents, say, hey, here's these 6 meets. We're going to give y'all this much money to make sure y'all come to all 6 of these meets. We need the top 3 in every event.
Yes.
These 6 y'all going to have, I don't know, say the 110s, the 400 hurdles, 100, whatever. And these 6 meets over here, we're going to have these. We need every meet. Here's a contract for these 6 meets that y'all going to do outside of the national championships and the worlds and Olympics. Guarantee 6, you know, you come here, we're going to cut you this check right here up front.
You got something here. You got something here.
And there you go. I don't know however much money it takes.
Right. And then when you know the athletes are going to be there, then from a media standpoint, you can then
and I can hype this up the whole entire time.
Set it up to be able to tell some stories or create some events or create some
a week beforehand, and you got Paris coming up. Hey, we got the women's 400 hurdles. We got Sydney. We got Femke Boy. We got Muhammad. We got Shamir Little.
Even if you know a month in advance, track is tricky. You never know what can happen.
Well, we know.
You never know.
I know in January that these people are coming to these 6 meets.
Yes. There's so much you can do.
We're gonna have everybody.
Yes. Yes.
It's simple, man.
Jack on the messages, like Sha'Carri's TikToks and a couple of other basically created more hype than the meet directors could. It's the athletes doing it. Like they're literally promoting and doing their own things, you know, and I feel like it's good, but why does it need to be like everyone else? They should also be, utilizing it. They're being lazy. We've said this before. They're lazy, and they're very lazy. They're the meat the way that they do. It's just laziness. They just like, well, we got the athletes. We got a couple athletes.
The same thing out every week, every year. It's the same. The production for the Diamond League is probably the same as when it first started in 2016.
Nothing's changed.
It's probably worse, actually.
It has. Do you know what I was saying to Anson? They were playing on all these meets, like, and what you're kind of saying, maybe there does need to be just a few meets, because there's all these other ones now. Like, I like the fact that we get to watch all the athletes, because before it was like ridiculous. We didn't get to watch any meets. We'd have to look at results. There was no live stream, so it's good. But the money that's going into all the other live streams, like the Golden Spike, what are they called? The Golden Spike Continental Tours and all of these. There's like loads of them, right? They're obviously putting a lot of money into that. And then,
but they're not presented well.
They're not presented. They're not presented well. The commentary, they just, it's everything about it is just boring. So it's just crappy. It's purely for track fans only.
Yeah, just watch the race. Here's the race.
Let me watch the race.
And we're gonna sit there and watch them too.
We will, and we'll find it. We'll be looking through for all the streams and everything. We're the ones that are looking for it, but no one else is gonna look for that. Yeah,
they don't even promote it.
That's what I'm saying.
So you might as well get Jade was saying to just get like the local feed for people who want to watch a stream for the Continental Tours, and then the money that you would have used to try and broadcast it in a subpar way, stack it all up. Put it towards whatever meets the 6 meets that we're talking about, the Diamond Leagues. Make those pristine. Make those amazing.
Show.
You know what I'm saying?
Then as a promoter, it's like, but what am I getting out of that?
Well,
my stadium's going to be sold out because I'm in Switzerland and Lausanne, and this is what these cats live for. Is this meet every single year? So my stadium's going to be sold out. Everybody in Switzerland's going to be watching locally.
True, but
what is the advantage I get?
Once you bring advertisers into it, though, once you bring advertisers into it, then there's a benefit of creating relationships and also creating more money. You can never have too much money. You know what I'm saying? So
you never can.
We sold out the stadium. Well, what else could we get? We can get this too. We can get whatever more millions on top of this. Cool, I can do this. Oh, to secure this athlete. Okay, yeah, we could drop a couple more dollars on them to secure that, because this company is gonna pay to have their signage or whatever at this meet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of advertising opportunities when it comes to the competitions where everybody.
They already getting it on the bib numbers and all that stuff. It could be me standing out there right now at 40 years old with a bib number on EA or whatever on NBC, and it doesn't mean anything, but they're still gonna get that exposure because I'm just standing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're already getting. So you want me to pay more money to get these athletes here when I'm gonna get the same draw?
But that's where the advertisers gotta come in, The advertisers will come in if it's something big. They'll want in on it.
Yeah,
people will be watching. Okay, well, I want my name on the billboards. I want my name coming. I want an advertising commercial coming up in the middle of the event. I want my commercials coming up during the broadcast. I don't know, whatever else. I want my water there. I don't know, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. There's money. If people are there, if people are watching, everybody wants in on that,
The people that probably got the most personality are the field of vendors, and they don't really get no time on air.
Don't get Jay started.
And it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's an untapped.
Did you not see what happened at the Olympics? Showing the whole entire event, what it did? When you show the whole entire event, you see the build-up.
You can go on that stream and watch everything. I want to watch nothing but the discus throw. I can go right there and watch nothing but the disc. I don't need commentary, but I mean, if you're like trying to bring fans in, you're gonna need them to say something. But at least the option's there for them to watch nothing but the discus or nothing but the shot or nothing but what's going on the track. All those kinds of things. It's time for everybody. Yeah. It's enough time to make things happen.
Well, if you have concentrated streams on specific events, that you can get specified announcers that mold with the culture and can actually convey the message. That's gonna
listen to Michelle Carter do the throws. It was like, this is an Olympic champion. See what I'm saying? She was doing great. Her first time fresh out, explaining stuff, and it's like, this is what we need. Get more Michelle Carter out there on the field events. Let her and whoever her partner was, do those things. That would be a great segue, helping people like maybe that want to get involved in this after they are finished with the sport. It just opens opportunities. That's why it's great seeing what Sign is able to do with NBC and like what Otto did when he retired. Like it's pretty dope that we do have these people that are that were greats in the sport, still staying in the sport and being able to impart that knowledge to other people.
Yeah. Sure. They just, I did something for World Indoors in 2018. I did some. Oh, we've got 30 seconds. Oh, wow.
Well, check
that
this.
bootleg Zoom.
Yeah, Jade can get to her point once you get off. But respect for tuning in, though.
Thank you.
You're always welcome. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good discussions here. A lot of great ideas. We got to keep pushing these ideas forward. And we lost them.
And yeah,
but it's all good. Respect to
Dwight.
Respect to those guys who are tuning in. A lot of good talks. You know, these talks have to happen amongst people of the past because we've done it. You know what I'm saying? And especially the ones who've done it at a high level. They have a great understanding of not only elite competition, but also, you know, it's a perspective that, you know, the people presenting and putting together events can benefit from. And I don't think that's being done. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people think they know what the sport needs that have never done it, which is interesting to think. But there's certain people within the sport that you have to be able to talk to, and in the events that people are watching. So the people who have perspective on the event can't only be athletes. They have to be athletes in primary events like the sprints or the jumps. And
are you talking about the commentators?
Whether it's commentators, whether it's event planners, whether it's, you know,
what the event needs to get the most out of it.
Yeah, it has to be. You have to get voices from people within the sports that or the events that get the most eyes. I find that a lot of people involved with a lot of the planning, from what I've seen, usually distance people.
And we've spoken about this, and I've banged on about this about 1 million times, and you don't want to get me started. But for me, I don't know. They have a tendency to go to usually it would be the white middle-aged man that was like a distance runner one time in his life, and now he's doing the commentary. He's the meet promoter. He's the, you know, it's a certain certain type of demographic and certain type of personality that usually does the commentary and does that type. It does not connect to me.
Right.
Their vibe, it doesn't. When I'm watching it, they don't get me excited because it's not what vibe I experience competing as a jumper. You know, it's not what vibe you experience as a sprinter. They're not really connecting, so they're not really telling the true story of what our sport is all about. When you have one type of person doing the commentary on everything, I could not commentate on like the 10,000 meters. I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Right.
First of all, I don't have a connection to it. Like that emotional connection. I like listening to those mans talk about that because it gets me excited because you can feel how much they love it.
Right.
And you can feel when they're talking about the jumps. They don't even know what they're like. Half the time they don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
They just give a 1-2 line and keep it moving.
Right. BJV says we're taking shots at Tim Hutchins and Seb Coe. Yo, it ain't even like that. We're just highlighting. Highlighting some facts. Just like Jade said, if she was going to talk about the 10,000, she ain't going to have the voice and the vibe of that event. So think about the main popular events. If you're not from that event, you're just not going to have that.
Look,
you just don't.
Look. World Athletics feed, their live feed. Every single one of the commentators is white.
Right.
And middle distance. I think they've got 2, from what I've heard, and I might have missed someone. So if anyone knows, they can tell me something else. But they've usually got the lead commentator, what do you call them? Play-by-play guy.
Yep.
White guy. And then you've got a backup, which is, they brought a few women in, but they're like middle distance runners. There's 2 middle distance runners. And sorry, it's not my vibe.
Right.
They're not. And I actually spoke to one of the commentators and they understood exactly what I was talking about. They actually understood. And they didn't even think about when I said, my vibe and you know, imagine you're listening to the commentary, and if it's great if you're a middle distance runner, if you're you get satisfied, but as a jumper, as a sprinter, it's not satisfying. It doesn't feel like my experience.
Well,
right?
that's the thing.
There's no black commentators.
Right.
So it's a different vibe.
Right.
You need to have
and not only is it not your vibe, they just don't capture the vibration of the sport.
No.
They don't, or capture the vibration of the events. So if they're not capturing that, then the message isn't authentic. It doesn't matter if you know all the stats and you know the ins and outs of what happens. The actual voice that you come with isn't authentic.
No.
Because it's not true to what's actually going on within those events that are being watched the most.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's nothing against nobody. It's just it's not there. You just don't have. I talk about the UFC a lot. You guys know this. But why do you think Joe Rogan's voice carries so much in that sport because he used to fight. He knows fighting. He knows, he's been in there. He actually knows the guys that are doing it. The guys that are doing it respect him. He's in it.
Yeah.
So he talks with a voice and a tone that commands respect because he is speaking truly from an authentic place that the sport's coming from. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
But they're very stuck. One thing I realized with my little time doing the commentary for World Athletics is they're very stuck in how they want to keep going down this boring road. I remember, I wanted to do some commentary I did a bit of the commentary on the long jump. And I'm about, like, my job, what is my job as a commentator? Is like to connect to the public, to give them a little bit more of an insight. If they know it, they're like, yeah. If they don't know it, they learn something. They understand it, right? They're telling me, yeah, we don't need to hear about how that happens. We just you could get to there in one sentence, like they hit the board really well. And I was like, but everyone can see that they hit the board really well. Like they were on the board. Like, why am I going to tell people how did they hit the board really well? What does it take? Give a little. They didn't want none of that. I was like, well, there you go. That's it. So, anyway,
we see some names being dropped for some good suggestions.
Darren Campbell. We see Dwight would probably be good at being a commentator.
Yeah.
Darren Campbell's really good, very passionate. Anyone doesn't remember Darren Campbell? British 200-meter runner, I think Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Yeah, Jay Johnson, Hanson Henry. To name a couple.
I talk too much apparently, so I don't know if it would.
Who told you that?
Like everyone.
Yeah.
All right there. But I think your boy Vader was on earlier. He's like, man, Anton, you're a good partner. You're just letting Jay talk. I'm like, well, what am I here for? Am I not allowed to contribute?
Yeah, and it's good that she was talking because I was handling some technical stuff, so it's all good. So, everybody that tuned in, much respect, and just to conclude,
we had like a lot more stuff.
We had loads of stuff, but the
conversation
with the guests turned out to be pretty insightful and really good. You know what I'm saying? To get a couple of those guys on to talk some track and field is always good. Like I said, these are the discussions that need to be happening with the right people. You know what I mean? And we're going to be having a lot of guests in the future. Paris, we will be doing something brief after Paris. We saw the lane draws and some of the people that are going to be there. It'll be a cool meet. But I think
everyone's winding down a little bit, right?
They're winding down, but I think that as opposed to previous years, there's a build towards the Diamond League final, at least in the sprints.
I don't even know. Does anyone know when the Diamond League final is?
Yeah, you guys.
I don't know.
Let me pull that up, guys. Diamond League final.
It's in September sometimes. Damn, September. I'd be ready to be done by September. I'm like, I want to be on a beach somewhere. You know what I mean? But
Diamond League final. So let's just look at the schedule.
How do we not know this already?
I don't know. I feel like
I've seen it about 25 times this year, but I still don't remember what the dates are.
Yeah, so...
See, Diamond League final is on... Oh, there we go. Joel, the Diamond League final is on the 8th and 9th of September.
Oh, did
Zurich
you put it
meet, 8th. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. 8th and 9th. Yeah. When is that? Like 2 weeks? So we've got Paris this weekend, Saturday. There's another one, right?
So much, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's where we are now. 25th, 26th.
25th, 26th just happened today with Lausanne. We got Paris on the 28th, so that's Saturday.
Damn.
Brussels is going to be September 3rd.
Did you ever compete there? I never competed. They never had long jump.
No, I didn't. And then the Diamond League final is going to be over 2 days. No. 1 day.
Really? 8th to the 9th.
But I think the majority of the events are going to be done on the 9th.
Okay, they're like today.
Kind of like today.
Yeah, like yesterday they had the men's high jump in like a street meet, kind of.
Yeah. So
3 more meets.
3 more meets, but the Diamond League final, especially in that women's 100, has become very, very interesting.
Yes. Hopefully it's good weather. We've had such rubbish weather in Europe this year. Yeah. Well, I say Europe, say London, but in the UK.
The meet today was in Switzerland.
And
Apparently it was cold. Diamond League final is going to be in Switzerland. Hopefully it's not cold.
Yeah.
Throws in the town center on the 8th. Oh, that's sick.
Throws, yeah. I like these little street meets, like these little town meets.
What did they do here?
High jump.
They did high jump in the street.
So they had like, they had Tamberi.
Ah.
Yeah. And I think a couple of the other guys, I think only Bashin wasn't there. The guy who got bronze or silver was there, but he didn't jump very well. Yeah.
So viewers, keep an eye out for our next podcast that's coming out. It's actually going to be based around mental health. Has just come very prominent the past few weeks, especially this past week.
And I'm just putting it out there, and I'll say this. I feel like in sport, in track and field, I've said this for a long time. I wonder what people think, that athletes are very and I think it's actually getting better now, and it's getting talked about more, so that the term mental health is something that is becoming more acceptable, of course, because it's obviously that taboo. People, especially as you're an athlete, you don't want to be seen because there's this taboo that it's a weakness or whatever, right? Yeah. And no one wants to, and I know we've spoken about this, no, we didn't want to talk about any issues that we might have been having, and we're feeling a ways while we're competing because it's weak, right? So, but over the last, I'd say 10, 15 years, we've become very accustomed to hearing athletes talking about seeing a sports psychologist, realizing that for your mind, there's a massive place to be improved. We're always about the physical. Let's work on this, our physical, and get better, faster, fitter, stronger. But we realized in the last 10, 15 years that there's actually the mind that can be improved. So I think I was saying to you, I think that we should, what do people think about the term psychological health? To go with seeing a sports psychologist, because it's a different term. It's a different term that actually I feel like can be more positive.
Right.
But maybe people disagree. We'll see.
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
As we always do.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Great talks, great chat, great meet, great results. The women continue to do it.
That girl, Shelly-Ann.
Yeah. And if we could take, whether you like Sha'Carri or whether you don't like her, can we all at least appreciate the attention she's brought?
I don't think they're going to do that.
At the very least. We can't all agree on that, at least?
No, I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Well, she's going to do what she does, and everyone else is going to spend time being upset at each other when she ain't even upset. So, it is what it is. Track is in a decent place right now.
It is.
Can always be better.
Considering what a crazy year it's been.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next year, though. Now we can say it. Like, you're talking about next year at the beginning of this thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not in that space.
I'm just saying 100 meter times next year. Oh, you're right,
anyway.
You're right, though. Big up, everybody.
Thank you.
Respect to the tune-ins.
For the messages, we got into it a little bit. We were nearly having like a little beef on the message.
Nah,
it's all right. I'm joking. I'm joking.
It was kind of beefy, though.
It was.
It was kind of beefy, but not you, VJB. You know what I'm saying? We good, yo. And yeah, that big track meet in Paris. Keep an eye out. Tell your friends. Share, like, subscribe. Become a part of the movement. Become a part of the conversation. Respect for tuning in, y'all.
Thank you.
We'll catch up, yo. Peace.